being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to camp out, to groove. The psychedelic This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetic modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. Want you to smoke the natural herb. Sweet. Some call it marijuana. Sweet. Some call it sensimilla. Sweet. Some call it lamb's bread. The tea. And some people call it.
We'll share.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Charnick.
I'm J-Lo.
And we are live in the studio with Vinny and MTI and Uncle Andy and
Chris Walsh, who came back even after we totally blew him off 2 weeks ago when we forgot we moved our show 2 hours.
But he was hanging in there waiting for us.
Yeah, he was there.
He was
Hello,
there.
Mr.
And
Walsh.
he came on with a smile. It wasn't like I got a bone to pick with you fuckers. Okay, I'm a busy
we
man.
don't know that yet. He came in during the intro, so he might.
Oh, shit.
He might have a bone to pick. You never know.
Yeah.
I'm here to pick a bone.
No, I've known him for a while. I think we've known him for a while. I think he would have texted us first to say, fuck you guys, let's get it out of the way. But no, he was very professional. I didn't get that text. Welcome to I think, I want to just say out of the gate, we're all jealous of you. We wanted your idea. I mean, that's basically what it was. We look back on it and go, why the fuck didn't we start a conference? We're really good at throwing parties and networking. And you created the single largest cannabis commerce platform, arena in the world. So congratulations. And then there's my butt kissing out of the way. And now it's
You went straight to it. You went straight to it, Dave.
Well, come on. We totally blew him off. I mean, we were at that blockchain event. And
We did. Well, it was one of those, it was definitely one of those overwhelming kind of like moments where like, oh, wait a minute, do we have who? Oh, shit.
no, Mark told us when we sat down at 7 o'clock, he's like, did you guys know that we had a guy zoom in at 4:30 promptly? And I'm, oh, fuck. So my fault.
So you're on your final 2 week. This is the tense moments kick in right before the shows. How's it looking so far?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on. And you all have nicknames, so you can call me C Dubs, I guess.
Hi, C Dubs.
Trying to fit in here. But no, everything's good. Thanks again, and no problem on the last time. This is the crunch time, right? It's like if you're an accountant and it's tax season, like it's all hands on deck for weeks leading up to it, and it's about less than 2 weeks, and so we're entirely focused on bringing the industry together again with hopefully more than 30,000 people and 1,300 exhibitors.
It's impressive.
To get the epicenter of the industry going.
Oh, if you get under 35,000, I'd be surprised.
It's going to be a big year. There's definitely like everybody is. It's fun to, you've definitely achieved having one of the few events that people really have to kind of feel like they have to go to almost, just because it's like, it's like the Emerald Cup kind of consistently has that. You have sort of had that, because I think I was at like the third maybe one or something like that, and I remember just seeing on that one, I remember going like, what do you mean there's a whole other hall? They were like, oh yeah, the other hall over there. And I was just like, holy shit, that was it. That was when it was still growing. And now it's gotten to the point where it's like, you need like sneaker companies to come in just to hype you up, since everybody needs new shoes by the time they're done walking the floor.
Adam was like a boy discovering that there's another layer of chocolates in the Russell Stover box, so that was pretty cool.
It was the rooms that were across from where they were doing all the seminars from, and I didn't realize that there was a whole other thing over there. And what I did notice is when I went into that room, which I just found, everybody was happy, like every single vendor, because that's usually what I do. I always walk around and I don't ask the people who are there, I ask the vendors if they're happy, because I think that's the most important part. If the vendors are happy, then the show is a success, right? And if the public is happy, it doesn't guarantee that the vendors are always happy, because sometimes you're like, dude, it was great, everything was free, and it was just like, you're like, no, it wasn't what we wanted at all, But I noticed that every vendor I went to was like over the moon, and I was like, oh shit, this show is really turning into something, because I was still I wouldn't say a non-believer, but I was still at that point where I was like, just another weed show, really. But yeah, you proved me wrong, which is awesome.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. I mean, it's, we put a lot of time into making this and doing it the right way and making it a professional show, but also a show, as you guys know, all the parties around it and, everything that goes on that week, aside from what we do, is part of the experience. So we're happy with what we've helped with the industry build. and to follow the growth of the industry all these years, right? I mean, those early days, we had a couple hundred people, right?
Wow.
Now you're talking in the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you single-handedly made David Tran into a party animal. I mean, you've given him the forum and
David.
venue to create what is it called now? It was Fairchild Productions, but help me out, Adam. What was the what is it, Chris? You signed him up. It's now an official MJBiz Afterparty, right?
It is. I don't remember the name of it. Unfortunately, there are so many.
those are the successful
really
weed
good
events when you don't remember the name. You're like, no, I don't know. It was really good. Can't remember.
It was the one with the hot air
There's
balloon.
a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's like 25 different events going on.
Yeah.
Parties.
I like the MJBizCon though is much more professional than a lot of the cannabis.
That's their MO, right? We are the
That is their
professional. We are the
It's
professional.
great to
Now,
see.
the only part I always disagree when you say we're not lifestyle. I'm like, well, you can't help be but lifestyle at a certain point, because if you're really into it and you 100% are into what you're doing, then it becomes your lifestyle, right? So, but I get it. You're not really focusing on the brands that are lifestyle brands as much as the nuts and bolts of the people who are actually making the medicine or doing the distribution and things like that. It seems like to be the focus, more or less.
Doesn't it seem like it would be the type of conference you would have if you were in the gold industry back in the 1800s? It'd be all the ancillary services around to support the gold industry, and that's kind of like what you've done.
How many hemp companies have gotten involved this year? Because I'm sure that really fell off pretty fast compared to what it was.
Yeah, hemp/CBD. That 19 is when you started kind of feeling that pain, and then it really fell off a cliff. So that kind of industry's a lot of uncertainty, right? Until the FDA weighs in, especially on ingestibles with CBD. So that's been painful. And the industry as a whole right now, as you guys all know, it's going through a lot of growing pains. So
It's hard.
I think that the feel out there, normally MJBizCon is just as exciting. It feels great. I think we're going to have a lot of that too, but we're also going to address the elephant in the room head on, and that's that, hey, there's some problems out there with the industry that are affecting businesses, and we got to help people through it.
Wait, what?
I love that.
Problems?
It's really sad, honestly, to see. We're all used to fluctuating price points and harvest seasons and things like that, but I think this year it's really sad to see a lot of great brands, honestly, that haven't made poor business decisions. I don't think it's just the market, the economy right now, struggling.
But I hate to. I think isn't that just a contradiction business-wise? They did not plan for this price drop. They didn't have resources to ride it out, and I bet you if we looked at their books, a lot of the companies that are going out, they wrote into their pro formas there's going to be a $3,500 wholesale pound for 10 years, which we all know is not sustainable, and it won't create the industry. It'll crush the industry, setting false expectations.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of businesses planned around what we saw in 2020 and into 2021, where we hit new records everywhere we looked, and the industry, just had was on this rocket ship during the pandemic when all these other businesses closed. It was like cannabis is thriving, right? And I think many people saw that as the new benchmarks, but the forces at play now are different, right? Things are people are going back to work, so some cases they're not using or spending as much. And then you've got the maturing of some states where there's too much competition. Retailers are having to discount. So there are good companies that were financially structured in the right ways that are suffering. But to your point too, a lot of the companies just weren't prepared for this eventuality. And to be honest, last year I did not see all of this pain coming myself. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you businesses weren't ready. The end of last year, I thought we were going to still be in pretty good shape this year. And overall sales are up, right? If you're in new markets, if you're getting into New York, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, but it's the Californias, the Colorados, even the Michigans, the Oregons, the Washington states that are going through some tough times.
all the mature markets are definitely hurting, and definitely with any new market, there's going to be the initial rush. It's like all the build outs, everybody's going, they have money for that moment in time. But yeah, with the states that are mature markets, they're definitely hurting, and you'll see a lot less growth in those places. More consolidation, which is kind of what has happened for the last few years. And with consolidation usually comes, lower qualities and practices that maybe aren't so, groundbreaking anymore. More like, oh, okay, so we're just turning into McDonald's now. I see what's going on. As land, we're actually purchasing properties and not even caring about what's going on inside of those ones. So, well, hopefully, I mean, I the market, I hope will.
Well, I'll piss off some people right now.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Here we
Of
go.
course you will.
Yeah.
I think the reason why prices drop so much is because of New York. It is totally 100% their fault.
Happy monkey.
They came online, and
It's a new
all of a
guy.
sudden, $350 million a month in gray market pot did not have to go to New York. That's a lot. Okay, that was coming from California market. That was coming from Colorado market. That was coming from Oklahoma. It didn't get bought. They grew it all themselves, and the prices plummeted here. We planned on growing enough to supply New York. New York legalized and didn't do like most states did, which created this like really tight infrastructure. They just said, go, just grow, go. Anywhere you can smoke tobacco, you can smoke cannabis and just start growing. They made the application process relatively easy. They encouraged social equity licensing, and they blew it up. And they grew enough for themselves, and we didn't need to ship any to them. So prove me wrong.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, definitely, it's been a slow tightening from that side anyway. As far as back in the day, you could send anything back east, and it got sold at some
Allegedly.
point. Allegedly.
Mr. Walsh, can I ask you a question for the entrepreneurs out there that are optimistic about this industry and where it could go still? Is what would be the most beneficial things that you could bring as tools to MJBizCon? What kind of contacts people are you should you be anticipating to meet? Is it worth the price of the ticket in these regards if you are an entrepreneur out there?
Well, I've never been the sales guy because my background is journalism. So I'm not going to pump the event unless I mean it. But honestly, in times like this, getting together with people in the industry is more important than when everything's great, right? Because there's, the person you meet, if you're looking for money right now, which is dried up, right? We have investment content. We have tons of investors there. Like, this is the time you've got to be out there, right? You've got to be around the industry, even if it's just moral support you need. And you're like, this sucks, man. My whole business is on the line, and I'm in California, and this market's shitty. And, I don't know what to do right now. You need the moral support to get through this. But also, whether it's the educational tracks or the show floor or whatever, you need to feel that energy of the industry. There is a lot of hope. Like, the industry's not going away. There's going to be a correction. Canada's industry went through a correction too. Like, the tech industry went through a correction in 2000, right? It happens. And so there's fundamental things that have changed in the industry that need to be reset. And the people who come out on the other side are the ones who are going to reap a lot of benefits, right? So you got to come out on the other side, though. That's the challenge now. So getting together with people and meeting, whether it's an investor, it might be a business partner, it might be someone you hear speaking on the stage who opens your eyes to how they're navigating this situation, right? Maybe some of the moves that they're making that you bring back to your business. So there's a lot of added value in a time like this when an industry is struggling and it's easy to be like, we're tightening our belt. I'm not going to go to a conference or whatever. But I mean, I'm telling you, this is the time that's
a stupid decision. So you're struggling in the industry and you're going to pass up on the one opportunity to be at the nexus point of where everybody who is in the industry is going for a week.
I mean, and half the thing about getting to these shows too is it is to see who's fucking survived. You know what I mean? Half of walking around, you're like, oh my God, they made it. Because sometimes you're amazed. You're like, never thought you would have made it. And other times you're like, really? With all that, they just fucking tanked. You're like, yeah, So then it is a good way to kind of gauge the reality of where we're at. And it's like a big, for me, I love it because it's like a high school. Everything is a high school reunion. You're like, way, oh. So it's always fun to run into everybody, especially because this is the one show people will come from Europe and come from everywhere for.
Didn't that happen? Wasn't it last year? Like, they just relaxed the travel from Europe, so we did get some people that come in, or did they all miss out on it? Am I confusing that?
International was down significantly because it was just people. Every country has different rules, and we're at different places. So it was down significantly, and we've seen that pick back up towards the historic norms. I mean, we have people from 60 or 70 countries coming. And we've been leaning into making this the global show that will bring, when COVID's out of the way completely and everyone's open up, we get a lot of people from China and there's still issues with them getting here. right? But in a normalized world, this is going to be a global industry over time. So we want this to be the global show. So we want you to be able to come, and you're seeing people from South Africa and Colombia and Europe and Asia, because that's where the whole industry is going to go as more countries. We just had Germany moving forward with legalizing recreational adult use.
And are you
never would have thunk it.
Well, no, they've been leaning that way for a few years now. But are you gonna? Is it? I should know the answer to this. But are you taking MJBiz on the road and making it a global conference? Maybe doing something in Colombia, where inevitably there's going to be large outdoor cultivation. Maybe doing one in Germany, just to say, hey, you guys did it. Let's bring it to you.
We did do that before the pandemic, and we had a show in Colombia, in Bogota. We had a show in Denmark. We had shows in Canada, and we were looking at other regions of the world. But what we found is our time is better spent making MJBizCon that global show and bringing the people there, and then give them, over time, creating things on the show floor. And maybe it's the European pavilion, right? And it's all the European companies, or getting meetups for them, because it's not going to be so country specific. And honestly, for us, all the work you put into a smaller show in another country is as much as work as we put into MJBizCon. That's the thing about running events is, there's a certain point where the resources are the same, no matter what size the event is. So for us, it's about putting that focus on MJBizCon, making it the global one.
And it's so big, it takes a year. It takes a year
ones.
to get that thing tightened up, I'm sure, anyway, because it's such a big show and you have so much to work on.
So who's the keynote this year, opening up the event?
I give my kind of state of the industry and predictions, and we have Berner, of course, from the industry keynote, behind cookies, and really he's going to talk about how he built this one of the top brands in the industry now in a very short period of time. And it's a good example of someone, a rapper. He's able to come and have business acumen and built the right team. And he's going to talk about how he's built this now global brand, Cookies, and what the keys to his success have been, which is the future of the industry, right? It's these bigger brands that are going to be, whether it's MSOs, whether they're in multiple states or multiple countries, just like the Starbucks or the McDonald's or whatever. There's going to be some big players, and a lot of people want to know how to create something like that. And then we have Rhonda Kallman, and she was behind the Sam Adams. She was one of the founders of Boston Beer Company.
Oh, that's cool.
And she has a distillery now and some interest in cannabis. So it's the parallels with the alcohol industry and the similar challenges they've gone through, with consolidation into just big breweries, and then, this craft scene that's developed in the last, 15, 20 years. But there's a lot of parallels with how the cannabis industry could play out, and she's going to bring some of those experiences, regulations, all of that.
And that's really cool too, because they were the first. They were the first alcohol company to openly sponsor a cannabis event, which was in Massachusetts 2 years ago. And so I was like, really? Sam Adams is like, damn, that's pretty ballsy of them to jump in like that. And they definitely were ready for it. It seems like, it was already 2 years ago. And so I saved a can because it was in October. They had made an October. I wasn't even drinking anymore, but I was like, okay, I'll keep one of those because that's like the first sponsored cannabis event with alcohol, and like they were totally down. That was for Cannabis All Stars.
Wow.
Cultivators Cup. Sorry, Cultivators Cup. They've called now Cultivators Cup. But and also like the microbrewery is pretty much how everybody who's in the industry can kind of understand. Like as far as growers go, we're always talking craft, which is even though Sam Adams is hardly a microbrewery anymore, but they started off kind of the whole craft. Right. They kind of created the whole craft industry because they were the first, one of the first at least out there. And so that's a really cool combination right there.
Yeah. So we always try and get some outside business perspective in here because there's a lot we can all learn from people who've been successful in other industries, right? And there's a lot of parallels. And sometimes we're so focused on reinventing the wheel everywhere we look in cannabis. And it's like, look, there are some things, some skill sets, some lessons, some expertise that applies here, right? That we can glean from other people in similar industries who've been through our challenges. And it also helps you feel like we're not alone. We always feel, cannabis sucks. And well, it's so different. And the situation is so different. Understanding where the similarities are and how other industries developed and how successful companies navigated that is, I think, beneficial.
Well, I mean, take a look where our industry started. You had to be a type A personality, ready to do everything. You had to be the gardener, the salesperson, the marketing person, HR. You had to
Wash the pots,
trim. You were your own trim crew, and then to expand, you had to find a way. You couldn't have that knowledge in your head. You won't be successful. It had to then translate into a business plan, SOPs, how you run your garden. You don't want somebody standing around going, "What should I do?" They all need to know it. It's like this routine. And this is 12 years? Is this the 12th year you're doing it?
It is.
Yeah, so that's...
Wow. You should be very proud of
that's
yourself.
Huge. I think I've been to 11 of them.
Sorry, this is our 11th year. The
And I've been to
COVID
10.
thing always catches me. Yeah, 11. So almost a dozen years.
11 is the lucky year.
It's a good year. Good year. 11's a good one.
I got to say...
And in Vegas, everybody spend your money extra this year at BizCon.
I did enjoy it more when it was at the Rio. When it was in one place and everybody stayed there, and you could go on like a Friday when everyone was flying home to the little, outside of every elevator floor, they would always have the little telephone and the little desk there, and everybody was leaving all their weed in like 2013 because nobody wanted to fly home with anything, and it was like going to a dispensary.
Dave had a garbage bag standing there.
No, we took pictures. I have pictures of it, and we never took anything because
That's
you didn't know what the
trashy,
fuck
Dave.
it was. But you took flour if there was some stinky flour, but you didn't know what somebody's fucking concentrates were. Then it was hilarious. But I like that we didn't have to leave. We didn't have to go anywhere.
And that's the thing. It's there's the nostalgia of early days in an industry are powerful, right? And then you move on, right? And the industry changes, and it is what it is now. It's so big, in the convention center, and that's the reflection of where the industry is. All those intimate experiences we all used to have in those early days, right? We all remember fondly. A lot of them aren't there anymore, but I remember those. I love those shows too, and everyone's staying there, like you said. And it was like we're this gritty industry. We're at the Rio, this kind of shitty hotel. That's the only one
during the
the
World
shittiest.
Series of poker.
Yeah.
There was always poker going on, so I loved that.
Of course you did.
I remember one year there we had it, and the event next to us was the Marine Corps ball. And there was like Marines coming over with their dates and taking a picture in front of our sign, like, dude, look at this.
Do you remember the year? Do you remember the year where it was two weird things going on? It was on the way walking in. There was it was the national warden event. There was all the wardens from all the prisons were there, right? Wow. And then next to that was a remote control car thing with these kids racing these like super fast remote control cars in this room, right? So it was like the weirdest combination, and all the wardens had like broken arms and legs, and they were like walking in all giant guys and looking like they just got their asses kicked. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? They're like, oh, it's the national warden of the thing. And I'm like, really? During the MJBizCon? Like, wow, this is like Fear and Loathing going on right here, because it was like that total contrast going on. And then next door was like these remote control cars, which were pretty dope. And I went in the room and I was like, now this is really cool. It was like these glow in the dark remote control, like super fast cars, and these kids were racing them. And I was like,
I don't think I saw the car part. That does sound cool though.
Exactly. I was like, this is weird.
I could do less with the the big race cars that were drifting.
Oh, they're going to do that, I'm sure. Again.
One-
They did that the last 2 years, I think.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, is it just because they don't want us to congregate out front?
Because then you stand out front and all you hear is
And
like,
have
"Tick, tick, tick, tick,"
conversations.
you hear the squeak of the
I don't know
wheel.
what that is, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, they had like some kind of.
It was 2 years ago. They didn't do it last year because we parked in that
Yeah, they
lot
had a
where
big
they did
race
it.
thing. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was weird.
Can I ask
don't know what it
you
was.
I liked it.
about the early years? Like when you first
Yep.
began this, like how many obstacles, how difficult it was? Like when did it really take
Yeah.
off into what you've created now?
I think the first year when we had 400 people and 30 booths, we were just like, holy shit, like this is cool, this worked. And we were trying to be professional. Like I gave my intro speech wearing a suit, in the cannabis industry. I looked like a turd, to everyone, I'm sure. But no, we had a lot of people that were actually dressed in sport coats. And that's what we were trying to do is say, we're not the corporate guys coming in.
Dave was
but
definitely with his. Did you have your weed coat on?
No.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't get. I would have been in a sport
There's always
coat
someone with a
actually.
weed coat at MJBizCon.
Yeah,
but
Dave,
we were trying to bring
We know.
professionalism.
We know.
We're trying to bring professionalism to the industry.
You should
because
not let
we
that
need
guy in. If that guy shows up, you should just be like, "Excuse me, sir. This is a professional
allowed.
show. You cannot
Against
wear
the
that."
rules.
And then have the guy just freak on you. And nah, it's okay. Let him in. Let him in.
Let him in.
Just give him that moment. Call it the Dave Charnick rule.
Are you getting any? Are you getting any requests from the emerging psychedelic industry to set up booths and to be able to provide information to people?
Oh yeah, I mean we have a separate conference called Remind going on the Tuesday of the show, the 16th, and it's a psychedelics business event. It's a one-day forum. You know,
Tuesday?
we've got,
You said the
content.
15th.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting all the days. Yeah, the 15th, and you know, it's a one-day. It's part of MJBizCon, but actually, our parent company, Emerald, who bought us in January, mainstream publicly traded company that does business events, bought us, and they had already been looking into launching a psychedelics media and events brand, and this is their first foray into cannabis. But they were already looking at psychedelics, so they had a business plan. We teamed up with them. And yeah, so that's a big part of cannabis now. A lot of people are looking for opportunities in psychedelics. They see similarities. So we're diving deep into that. And, you know, we'll have a couple hundred people at that little forum as part of MJBizCon as well.
Wow.
And would our MJ badges get us into the psychedelic event on Tuesday?
That's a separately ticketed one because it's not part of the main show.
God.
What about a media?
What about our media
what about
badges that
media
you gave
passes?
us?
Your media pass, yes, should get you.
Oh, thank you. Can we just say
Thank
we
you
know
so
Chris?
much.
Can we give Chris a call?
We'll have you on speed dial.
Cute.
We're gonna have Chris on speed dial. Should I speed dial?
bring-
Should I call him?
Hold
Should I
on.
call-
Let me
bring
take a
you
picture
treats.
of you on the
For
screen
giving
right
us
here
treats.
so I can show them the picture to prove
I
that you were
swear
on
to
the
God,
show.
he was on our show. Look
Yeah.
what happened to us.
Look how happy he is. Oh, look. Did I do that?
He's happy
Yeah,
because
'cause of the flash.
blurring.
I don't know if that was my own eyes doing that or what.
No,
No, it was me.
We're just having flashbacks to JLo's show.
That's fucked up. Sorry. Please continue with what you were saying. It was much more important.
Well, Chris has a hard stop at 5 o'clock.
I know,
at
and we
least.
have
That's what
a
your
full show,
assistant
and we
told
have a
us.
full show too. So
So,
we
I know
actually are.
that's-
We're on schedule today.
I don't
Can
want
you
to.
imagine that? We're on schedule.
Mark is
Mr.
giving
Walsh.
us the, the
Mr. Walsh, you were so kind and such a pleasure.
Mr.
to
Walsh.
talk.
Mr. Walsh, listen to her. She's
What?
trying to get some brand. She's trying to get a free
wait.
ticket. Oh,
She doesn't have a
Can
media
She
you
doesn't
badge.
have a
invite-
media badge.
I'm not
They say we
invited.
can only have two. Can you make
Damn it.
can you change
I
that
wish
rule?
I was a part of the Cool Kids Club. I'm not going to deny it.
Yeah, they said we
Maybe
can
in a
only
couple
have-
more
We're only allowed to
years.
have two. We're like, but we have three. And they're like, yeah.
Nope.
You guys
Sorry.
go through Tess, our PR person on that one.
Well,
She's-
why don't you just say
Sure,
yes
go
right
back.
now,
Right
and
now.
I'll replay it
And then we just
for
play it
her
on the
and
show.
say
Yeah.
you said okay.
Chris said it was
Send
great.
her the clip.
But you didn't say
You can have
yes
three.
yet.
You got to say yes.
You have to
I
say
said
the
yes,
word.
you can have 3.
Oh, ding, 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 ding,
Thank
ding.
you.
All right. See, I
Well,
knew the
we,
show
we
was
really
worth.
need 5.
Yeah, just make it an even 5.
Sorry.
No, look at he's
How
like,
about a half
Now you guys are
dozen?
getting greedy.
I know.
I know.
Hey,
It's my nature.
Dave's style. He can't help it.
Yeah, that's the reason we have sponsors on the show, Chris, is because I have to actually
was
ask
trying-
the shit that
Beg.
he doesn't
Begs.
I
want.
was
He begs
just
and
trying to
grovels
say
on the show.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you
and
for your
the
time, Chris.
kind things that
Thank you all. I appreciate it, and I'll see you there.
I'll see you
you
there.
there.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.
Peace.
Peace out.
Take care.
Dave's the party guy.
All right. Look at that. On schedule.
Nobody believes that, man. When you say that, it's
so
just nobody
professional today.
believes that. So I think our Rocco guys are late. So
No.
Where is he here?
Rocco's
Wow,
there.
I
Dave.
can't see him.
We were doing great until right.
Oh,
That's fine.
Just relax.
just
I was
relax, dude.
Exactly. I was going to say, are we? But we also got Rebecca here.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Bring
Let's do
Rebecca on one
everything.
side and
Boom. But we have two
Rocco on
chairs.
the other.
There you go. So Rebecca, can
Somebody
come
get
here
her a cup of coffee, please.
Don't be.
She's coffeeed out.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
What are you talking about? You're a sweet baby glowing angel.
Put the
I
headphones
want
on.
your eyeshadow.
Yes, but you understand the industry because you do your own radio show.
I do.
Absolutely
I am
stunning.
on the radio. KGNU. Oh, little plug.
Shout out to KGNU.
KGNU.
They have a wider audience than we do, that's for sure.
Yeah. I wish
I don't know
I
about,
need to take some
don't,
tips
don't
from you.
belittle our audience. Our audience is huge.
Huge.
We're worldwide, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're worldwide.
potential.
All 10s of
And I
us.
finally get to meet Adam Dunn.
Nice to meet you.
Rebecca Hartman.
How you doing?
And I don't know
Hello, I'm J-Lo.
you. J-Lo.
It's very nice to meet you.
Welcome to Studio Ozo.
I know.
Oh,
So So this is
Justin has a gift for you, Dave. Don't let me forget.
For me? From
Lucky.
what?
Well, and if you want to share.
I'll share.
He's not a
it.
sharer, I can tell you that.
You know, it's funny.
Here we go.
I talked. So James Bean, one of our sponsors today, was like, he broke down finally. He was like, you guys talk about that coffee so much, and he's like, I think I'm going to order some. So you're gonna get, if you get an order from Mexico, it's going to be from our one of our sponsors. So I told him you got to get a sponsorship because you got to get on the subscriptions because it's the way to go, especially with coffee. So
No, stay.
Okay.
Stay. Have a seat. We're going to talk coffee for a few minutes here. But I geek out because when I first joined the show, the first thing I said was we have to have local sponsors because there are some people who live in the Denver Boulder area and globally, in the United States that would appreciate the mail order opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I told Justin this. You guys ruined me for coffee. I mean, really ruined me. I would never think to take coffee with me on the road. I mean, I wouldn't think of that, but it's so the shit that you have to drink when you're on the road compared to what you've really made me accustomed to is beyond words.
Yeah.
Because when we say you guys forge relationships with family farmers somewhere on the other side of the planet, then have their beans shipped green and then roasted on the 1959-ish roaster,
I remember Dave coming in, and it was like probably by the third show you had it already like dialed. We gotta get Ozo coffee, and I was like, okay. And then, funny enough, Mark. I mean, we tell the story so much, everybody's heard it a million times. But Mark didn't drink coffee, wasn't really interested. Slowly got worked in, and now it's like shifted where. Before I was like I was getting all the coffee with me and Dave. It was like, okay, this is
we
great.
just split it.
Now all of a sudden it's like we're just
and I even buy a 5-pound bag on the side too.
and everybody's buying it.
This is so fun. Yay.
It is.
Yay.
So
Ozo
we're all
coffee.
deep. Yeah, we're all deep into Ozo. It's for sure. And it's amazing because when you appreciate quality, which is our audience too when it comes to cannabis, right? Coffee, cannabis. Living in Amsterdam, that was kind of like how it became synonymous, right? People say coffee shop means where you buy weed. So here it's a dispensary, there it's a coffee shop. So of course we get a coffee shop here. Not that we're going to sell weed or anything, but just the fact that we're weed-friendly people, and now we have a coffee shop in Denver. It's going to be game-changing for all our friends because we get to slowly, show them quality. Because a lot of people drink coffee, a lot of coffee, and just never ever been exposed to it, where they get good quality, or just they don't have the time for it. And you're like, really? You've been drinking coffee for 40 years and this is what you drink. So
Yeah, I know it's very foreign to me because I'm spoiled. I get to be in this amazing depth of knowledge when it comes to our roasters and our green bean buyers and just the relationships, meeting the farmers and what they're doing to make big changes for their communities. It's just all of it so good. And we love amplifying voices. That's part of our mission. So it makes sense to create this partnership so that we can help amplify your voice. And
Well, you put the name of some of the farms on the packages.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, our Guatemala just landed, and we launched it today. And Justin has fond stories of the trips to Guatemala and our team, having had that opportunity to go where our our coffee's grown.
Yeah.
And just have that direct relationship. It's really essential to us and our mission,
Somebody just suggested on the chat that you do a collab with Adam and call it Ozo Kush.
Ooh. I'll talk to my team about that. Yeah.
Now, one of the
Ozo
things I was
Kush.
wondering, because I mean, you guys, when you label, because the only problem I have with coffee in general is that buying coffee from anywhere is that I try to focus on organic coffee, and that's the only time I'm a little bit I'll of course grab anytime there's an organic in our mix, I'll grab that. But
So we can talk about what it means to become organic and how difficult it is for many of our farmers to afford that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if what I said, because my wife always is like, "Is it organic?" And I'd be like, "No, this one not." But I'm feeling like these guys are not going to farms that are, because I trust that you guys are thinking that too, because I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, our roastery is certified organic. We have
Right.
to go through that process every year.
So I kind of had the feeling
most of our farmers aren't using pesticides.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to hear.
And a lot of them just honestly, especially in some of the more rural areas, just can't afford the process. Rainforest Alliance is a little easier process to pay for. And so a lot of our farmers will have that Rainforest Alliance certification, which is really important because that means they're giving back to their land, which is, again, back to our mission, like how important it is to leave less of an imprint. We already know that this commodity is stretched far.
Yeah.
And that footprint is making an impact on our world. And so we're doing everything we can, sustainability-wise, our social responsibility, like to really just be the best version of ourselves that we can at all times. Like that's really important to.
Yeah, because I
do it
stayed on the coffee farm in Puerto Rico, and it was real sad because it was beautiful, but I saw too much. You know what I mean? I was like, "What's that old dilapidated truck?" And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's the sprayer truck that just drives around every single day and just Roundup is sprayed on this place every single day." So it's just like, "Oh, I guess I can't drink coffee made from here." You know what I mean? And they'd be like, "Why don't you want it?" And I was like, "Come on, guys," And then they were like, "Well, we have to," and I was just like, you saw that on that island. It's pretty hard to find a place that doesn't do that because it's pretty standard. And so then I looked at everything, a little bit different. So I was always like, oof. And if you get from who knows where, then.
So whenever I hear pesticides being applied anywhere, the first thing I think is, what kind of pests are you combating? What kind of diseases are you being challenged with? Because I imagine it's pretty difficult on this large scale of cultivation, even if your biggest intentions are to be organic and like you said, certification. I can't even imagine how big of a nightmare that is.
Well, yeah, and it just costs a lot of money, and our farmers don't have it.
Because you're trying to keep your costs probably lower for your product as well, where more affordable margins maybe as well for your coffee.
I mean, yes, but more importantly is going back to the conversation of how are our farmers cultivating and making sure that we are aligned with that, because that's really important, that supply chain and how, like, making sure that our farmers are being paid above commodity price, right?
Nice.
Because we know what commodity looks like, up and down and up and down. So if we can secure that and have that direct relationship, that's where the real growth happens across in that social responsibility, right? For our world, for our planet, for our everything.
And it's like back in the
incredible.
day when people were getting cannabis from, directly from the source, and it wasn't, farmed in warehouses.
Yeah, like my husband's.
And it was
gift.
literally the same situation where people would go down and be like, "My God, they've been just raping you for so long. Let me just pay you like 3 times the amount." You know what I mean? And just change the whole sort of situation for that village or that place. I had a friend in South Africa that would he'd fly an ultralight, and he would fly around and just look for people growing weed. You know what I mean? And he would see somebody, and like he'd land, and then he'd talk to them and offer them more and bring them seed. And so they just knew him as Birdman after a while, right? So they'd be like, "Birdman."
Did Johnny Depp play him in that
Just
movie?
look for Birdman. They just be like, you see a guy in an ultralight, you're like, "Hey man, come on down." So he'd get to meet all the farmers, and he'd just by coming in, he just overpaid everybody, made sure that they got taken care of. He's figured out who would rip him off because everybody would try. It's South Africa, so he knew that he's like 80% of the guys would try to switch the seeds or do something, but he'd figure out who the top guy was and then stay with them, loyal. It's kind of similar, but I think you guys have the same vibe when it comes to coffee, because I'm always like, yeah, even if it's not organic, I bet it's not. It's just like, like you said, couldn't afford it or.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can definitely talk more about our direct relationships and why maybe they're not certified organic for sure.
Some are, some aren't, some won't. Some, you offer an organic. That's enough for me. It doesn't all have to be organic. It's just, it isn't. I don't know. I don't want to say it's not financially feasible.
Well,
for
it's also
everybody
because
to
of
go that way.
just the amount we drink. I mean, the amount I drink, it kind of feels important just because it is like one of those. If it's gonna be that much in part of my day, then it's gonna be accumulative. You know what I mean? So the more I can protect that, it makes it better for me. So.
Yeah.
And then what?
You gonna hog that joint or offer some to Rebecca? I know she's going to a concert later. And
I'm going to go see Mo at the Fox, night 1.
Ooh.
And you know that the Fox Theater was just inaugurated into the Colorado Hall of Fame.
I did not know that.
You want to go party at the Fox?
I think the
Fox is good.
By the
love
time
the
we
Fox.
got there, it'd be 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then maybe set
Dang
2.
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun. I'm going to a concert tonight too.
Oh, yeah, where
Willie,
you
We don't
going?
does
care,
Willie play with Mel
MDI.
sometimes?
We don't care. You didn't invite us.
I know, Vin.
Wish
I know
we had a
Vinny.
friend.
I know. Hey, yo, Vinny,
know.
Vinny, get you in.
Vinny gets in.
Vinny can get you in.
Wait.
Side door. You gotta go to
MTI, where
that
are you
little-
going?
I'm gonna go see Corey Wong at the Ogden.
I'm going to see him tomorrow night.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, he's playing in Boulder tonight. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
we're both leaving. I'm gonna go see Elton John.
Oh, yeah, he's going to Elton John.
I had to ask who Corey
What is going on
Wong
around
was.
here?
No, everyone needs to know Corey Wong. Corey Wong's cool. And Sierra Hall is amazing. She plays with Bela Fleck and My Bluegrass Heart. You guys are into music.
So, did you guys ever do any blended stuff for instance, like nootropic blends or different kind? I mean, have you guys ever experimented in that, or just kind of just
A little bit. I mean, we definitely did the Willie's blend, right? So we were helping with Willie's Reserve,
Oh, nice.
offering our coffee for a while. And it was 3 years ago. We were able to bring them with us to Telluride, which was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Justin would probably be a better voice on whether or not we're actually actively pursuing in those kinds of relationships right now. I know that we have.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
well, just a
something
lot.
that we're
There's a
currently
lot
doing.
of mushroom coffee combos out there already.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So I just felt like
We're
if you
such
guys,
a purist too. Like
that's what I was wondering if you
I
guys
mean-
were
yeah.
mixing the brand or create a sub brand possibly or something like that.
We're open to always consider it
So
for sure.
I got
Like
an idea.
like lion's mane, things
That's-
like that. They definitely seem to blend them. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
And
It's just a weed cough.
and then so you guys have how many shops you have now total? Because they're all pretty much Boulder, Longmont.
Right. Yeah, we have 5 retail locations.
Nice.
Would this location be too far from you to like?
I think it's
know?
amazing. What an amazing spot you guys found. I'm super stoked for you, for sure.
And you've looked at
It's
the
got a
actual
lot of
coffee shop
potential.
side?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Let's show
it's
it.
really great.
Just to know that, because that's the funny
Needs
part
some
about it is it
tender
has that
love and
real
care.
sort of, you don't even notice that
And a lot of
the
pain.
studio side is here really the way it's set up, because kind of coming from that side, oh wow, it's great. And then, so the combo will be we want to make it a real, a destination spot. Which is great when you have coffee at the destination, because when you get there, there's like the reward at the end of the tunnel, right? Where you're like, because we've always been a destination spot. We've always had these places, but we've never had the license to do food or drink or anything like that. So it's always been kind of like, we're lacking in that department. And to be able to deliver there will be huge, because that's, how you can really create the
Yeah,
flat-
bagels and cookies.
and we have
cinnamon
in-house,
rolls.
Exactly, we have our in-house baker plus, so that makes it also great. And then our goal, and I've had very good response to people when I say Oza, like, oh yeah, and when Oza's one of our sponsors, so we're going to try to get them to be involved. And then people are like, so I don't have to drive to Boulder? Like they're already like
Oh,
got the
that's
answer.
awesome.
You can go to King Supers. Come on.
And they even say that they're like, but I don't trust them because they know that it's not as fresh as if they get it from you. So that's where we're like, yeah. King Supers is like when it's like, oh my God, it's 11 at night. I need coffee for tomorrow morning or I'm gonna die. Quick, I got to get there in 8 minutes. It's gonna before it closes or whatever.
That's when you just have the subscription. Just come straight
See?
to your house.
That's what we tell everybody.
it.
Yeah.
I like
That's
to go
exactly
visit
what
my
I tell
King
everybody.
Supers.
and
Very
then
impressive.
and then it's so I feel like we could help you with the jonesing Denverites that can't quite get up there, and hopefully we can what Dave was saying was kind of like what I was on the same angle. I love to help promote Ozo to the people that I know appreciate it in the cannabis community, which is just by exposing them to the proper one, and then half of them will already know already, which is usually the case. Usually if they're from local, they're like, yeah, they know it, which is, you guys are doing a good job there.
You know what I really love about Ozo is in Boulder. I used to live in El Dorado Springs for a long time in Lyons, and either direction is everybody's cultivation facilities are within a good 15-mile radius, I'll say, give or take. And I think everybody loved that it was like this place that they could go for a professional meeting throughout the day, and like it wasn't. I don't know. You
Well, I
have a
used to-
great parking lot.
Well, we
all these
have
things.
so one of my original
Comic.
sponsors from the show was your next door neighbor, so it was like perfect every time we were there, and that was with Boulder Wellness. So they were like right next door basically. So that was my usual, and then we'd go have little meetings over there whenever people were in town. So yes, very good, and that's why I love having a spot in Denver, because I know that's kind of what it's like, oh, we can go there because cool spot, cool people.
I think we're going to have to prove the trail. You'll have to break the trail here by setting up like a lease agreement on a good espresso machine and proudly serving Ozo coffee, and
trained by Ozo Coffee. I also have to say, our staff was trained by
Yes.
the
That's
best.
what would make it.
And then we can have, then we know that we at least went through some sort of boot camp of, because it is a whole, especially when there's multiple, because people know what they like, and when they come in and you can't deliver, you're like, like what? Like,
we need to represent properly.
And coffee gets so intricate sometimes, where you're like, okay, you really want to have people, and everyone thinks they can make good coffee, but they
And the
for
first thing
themselves.
the first thing I felt in that space was community center. Like some sort of center place where like maybe some
That's what
spoken
Vinny
word,
turned it into.
or like
Well, we've
a little
had
bit of
we've had the 5 markets there,
slam
and
poetry.
the markets worked really well, and you could tell that we didn't even have the inside going on yet, and it was already creative, the vibe, just because people got there like, this place is great. It's sunny always, because we're on the top of a hill here too, so it's usually 300 days of sun a year to Denver. So it's just the fact that we're up on top of the hill,
So
good
it's sunny in
sun.
Westwood?
You can already feel like, okay, this is a nice spot to come to, instead of being like, we get 3 minutes of sun, like
Yeah.
right between 4 and 4:03. It's fucking kicking, and then it's over. Because I've been to places like that for also. And now it's important, because we haven't had a spot for 2 years at all. Well, even more, but we always had kind of, because I had a shop in Amsterdam from '93 until.
So
I
you know what
left.
it takes to run a cafe.
Oh yeah, who are
Well-
you kidding, Adam? Our studio was in a friend's house.
No,
you
it was in
he
Amsterdam.
ran a business.
Yeah, in Amsterdam we had multiple spots, but
Tough.
they were at least it was very communal, because we had the first hemp store in Europe, so we had people coming in from the States, and the timing was impeccable too, because it was like 93, 94, 95 was when we those are the years like we hit the first 2 shops, so 90, and that was like when hemp was hot, hemp was the big thing. So Ecolution, all these big companies kind of came out, and it was like, if you look at it's like, 93, same year, kind of like everybody seemed to be like, oh, that, just read Jack's book, figured it out, or
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
and you're in, how long you been in Boulder for?
I moved to Boulder in '99, Colorado in '97.
So and Boulder being like, pretty much like
Cool.
a giant hemp store in itself. The town is a hemp store, in this vibe of like what we were trying to, kind of, when I moved to Colorado, it was just 2010. I lived in Golden, and I was like, oh, okay, I saw, but for me, Denver seemed a little more Amsterdam vibe wise, because Boulder had its little Boulder bubble going on, what I mean? Like I was like, the Boulder bubble, I'll get stuck here forever. Like,
You
there's no
will.
reason to, because everything's,
Or you'll come back. I mean, it's fine.
but
Cheap hosa.
for sure.
I love that.
So we have to move on to I can hear them. They're gonna tear each other's throats out.
Oh, they're gonna be a fight.
yeah, I
Oh, they're gonna be.
heard, yeah.
We're
Pouncing.
gonna
Look at them, they're all
have a
happy
brisk
now.
debate on Proposition 122, which has been dubbed the Natural Medicine Health Act, and maybe I'll learn something today
I
about
hope
this.
so. Yeah,
But
I'm excited.
thank you
Yeah.
for 3+ years of support of the show. I hope we've
Keeping us caffeinated for
that-
3 years.
But I hope it's translated into loyal people getting a subscription, because it's the most fire coffee,
Well, you're
And
gonna get James Bean, which is like, who else do you want? But the
Somebody
bean
by the name of James Bean.
getting coffee delivered to him from you guys. I mean, that's huge. And he'll
Thank you,
he'll be
Rebecca.
getting a subscription.
Thank you all. It's fun. Yay!
Yeah.
For sure. Thank
Take
you.
care.
And say hi.
Ozocoffee.com
Oh, don't forget your
and
gift,
enter
Dave.
Done Deal.
Don't forget your gift.
I will share it with
I'm
everybody.
sure you won't forget.
All right, mushroom guys and gal, come on down.
We need an extra chair. Oh, we got the 2 chairs on this side, 1 chair on that side. So I get Travis. Oh, no. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, my
Oh, look at you. Well, you
goodness.
forgot it over there or something.
I probably gave you something in it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Why did you get that?
because
You
I
got to return. It was a return
I
in
gave
favor.
them something when they need.
Welcome back.
I'm just kidding.
Look, we had to call in the big guns.
Yeah.
You got headphones for them or no?
You got an extra headphones?
I feel like
No headphones?
One of you put these on. It'll work better.
Ladies.
Yeah. Let her put them on.
Always.
Yes, of course. That's
You
what
can
I
hear
meant.
us, even though you can hear the subtleties then.
I see
You can
brought
hear me
some
cough into
friends
the-
over there.
Oh yeah, some. You want some? Yeah, there's some.
What would you like?
Where do they go?
Oh, these
In a-
are
in a
these are
bit-
these are allegedly cultivated by MTI,
Allegedly.
and they
allegedly.
are albino penis envy
No, they're
Louisiana.
not. No penis envies.
No, albino
Oh, damn
Louisiana.
it, Dave.
Louisiana. They're very nice. They're light,
Oh,
they're
so I
light.
got it wrong.
So-
They're light and tasty.
Pretty big
They're-
deal on a podcast.
They're more like potato chips. They look.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. Travis is like, what is this? It's like you giving me a smidge of a bong hit. I'm like, here, would you want this?
No, So other than microdosing LSD, I've laid off of everything because my nerves are just fried.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just
What are
fried.
they doing?
What's that? I'm just tired.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
like, imagine like being just on all the time.
I fucking
you
can
know?
relate to
on
that.
all the time.
Wake up in the morning and I'm like, settle down, champ, settle
Warren
down.
for cannabis.
Yeah.
Then.
So we got Rocco. We got Rocco.
Make sure
He's
Rebecca
back.
gets bagels and cookies and
Oh, yeah.
take a numbnuts peanut butter.
Don't say it like that to me.
Don't
Yeah,
say
no,
it.
I brought it
Just
for
like-
you.
Don't say it like that.
Don't say it
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah, right?
They're nice. They're like they're
you
light
want
and crunchy and nice.
What's that?
Light
Do you
and
want
crunchy.
some? I have some that you can try.
No, he said he just said he's laying off. He's
No, I'm going to lay off until
Oh.
probably next month.
There we go.
Probably next month, yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
Well, we'll have
Oh,
you
nothing to
back
sorry
on next
about.
month.
Yeah,
You doing
please.
You doing
In
dabs?
fact,
then?
I'll
Are you
do it
smoking
on the
dabs? Are you
show.
smoking dabs and smoking weed? Because we
great.
got
You'll
plenty.
do it?
I'll do it on the show.
Oh, good. We'll be back.
And who do we have on the screen there?
Big brother,
Oh,
pop brother.
he-
How we doing, guys?
He joined us at 4:20 right on his time. Everyone, let's welcome Pot Brothers Law Firm for a second. It's 4:20 his time. Let's all smoke a joint together, and then
Yes.
they're going to come back on at 6:00, and we will have a robust conversation.
And you didn't roll a joint and have it ready.
I
Yeah.
did. You guys smoked it.
Oh my
I wish
God.
that somebody else on the show could roll
I got one right
joints.
here.
Yeah, look, Rocco's got one. Go ahead. No.
Man
Oh.
dime, go long. I could never
Oh.
play football.
And
I'm
you
sorry.
lost it. And you
I'm
lost
sorry.
it.
Is it? It's gonna be fine.
Everybody take a
Dave,
dab out
find
there.
that.
We'll do dabs. Easy enough.
And remember,
Are you taking? Are you doing dabs?
In about a half
I got it
hour,
right.
All right, half
I'd
hour.
like to just,
I got
like,
you.
yeah.
Way out at the end.
figure out what kind of presents I'm going to have in
Hold
this
on.
conversation.
I got the shirt on right now, but
There it is.
There it is.
it's freezing in here, so I had to put a fucking sweatshirt on.
Oh my God, Dave! Look at us. Nobody else is complaining.
Oh, I wasn't saying I was
see your breath.
complaining. I was
So
saying
you
I
can
was
see your
I didn't
breath.
say
We're good. And once you
anything.
see your breath,
Yeah.
then we can just pretend we're smoking. It's okay. There's always
It's
a way.
for the
out.
background.
Nice.
We're going to have a robust debate right now on the Proposition 122, which is the Natural Health Act. You are welcome to stay on, but we will devote an entire hour to you at the top of the hour.
You got it. I can hang. I'll listen in.
Yes,
I'll,
please.
Learn what this 122 is.
And we have a lawyer on hand anyway. That's
Yeah,
perfect in
there we
case
go.
we have to in case it gets crazy.
So Proposition 122 is dubbed the Natural Medicine Health Act. We have Travis Tyler Fluck, who was instrumental in getting psilocybin, the municipal law passed, making it just a non-offense in Denver County. And we have Rocco from Cannabis Kitchens and Monster Mushrooms. And had I paid attention to the email, I would know your name too, but you'll speak into the mic right there and tell us your name.
Veronica Lightning Horse.
That's Veronica Lightning. That's nice. Nice to meet
And so
What a
there's
great
been
name.
a lot of I think that the top issue, just to get out of the way, that I'll throw up for you guys to debate is, will Proposition 122 allow for the legal home cultivation of psilocybin for adults over the age of 21?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
If the spirit of the measure is taken to the legislature and a majority of them believe that a necessary amount, right? Because that's one of the things we have to talk about, is the vagueness of the definition of personal use. Is if they can find justification for allowing people to have home grows. And that's kind of where I see the issue, is not the spirit of the measure, but the implementation of the measure. So I'll say maybe.
That's the perfect response.
Then why is the we had Matthew Duffy on, and I watched the piece that from your friend that you posted on Instagram, where he clearly states that there would have to be a treatment center, and the cost to be administered psychedelics from a health professional would be $3,000, and he says there would be no home grow. So
there's a lot of ways to interpret what's been floating around, you know.
There is.
But I will say that I'm not satisfied with the way that it's written. And, you know, the cost of compliance is what we're talking about here. You know, the mushrooms themselves are basically free. As long as cows are pooping, we have mushrooms. It's like not a hard sell. And with my metrics and my application, I can create a Johns Hopkins dose for 43 cents.
Wow.
So the you know, everything else is built around that. And right now, Oregon, their cost of compliance includes transporting the mushrooms by armored car. So because that's one of many costs that are going to be incurred, they have deemed that low-income people will not be able to afford these services because of the cost of compliance. So I just think that a lot of the math that could have been done to substantiate a lot of this stuff is being held till after the vote. And I think that becomes problematic because it becomes an afterthought.
Cannabis is combating that currently, where their testing is exceeding the price per pound that commercial grows are selling at.
Well, let's stay on psychedelics for a second. So wait, I'll just be the advocate here first. But it's not the position that I've heard the anti-122 side take. They were convinced me that there would be no home cultivation, and convinced me that treatment would be put in the hands of certain therapy centers that would be created by outside the state corporate interests.
Yeah, that all sounds bad.
So if you look at history, right? History determines the future. So something that you were speaking to, Will Duffy was on, is that the spirit of Amendment 64 had an advisory board, but they didn't actually honor that. There is no advisory board when it came to cannabis. So a lot of this is forecasting based on some of the big pillars of the measure, like the fact that DORA is going to be in charge of a lot of decision making around this stuff. So if people are looking at how DORA has historically handled a lot of this stuff, they're overlaying that onto, well, what happens when you give these psychedelics and this whole thing that they may or may not be ready for. I haven't heard anybody from DORA come out and make comment on it either way. And from my own perspective, these substances are destabilizing, right? And depending on if you're for or against that destabilization, depending on how you see the landscape of society and what we deal with, like that can either be dangerous or that can be like a tool of transmutation, of transformation. So my concern is that an organization or a department that doesn't know what they're taking on is going to hedge their bets on the side of safety, public safety, and I think that comes in terms of keeping the personal situation at bay. I just don't know exactly what that looks like.
So do you guys see a solution that isn't, there's no home grow and there's no $3,000 treatment centers? What's your version of how this bill would be implemented if passed?
See, I'm just one person.
Yeah.
And I have been really plunged into the deep end with all of this. Like, Travis has been here and he's been working on this and he knows a lot of shit. And I got a lot of respect for Travis. I got here late. I got here late in the game. I'm not a lawyer. I'm definitely not a politician. I got involved in this because I see this as already being here. I've already had people. I'm for more or less, lack of a better term, a specialized therapist. I sit every single day with people in some of the worst trauma of their lives, and I help them work out of that. Mostly PTSD, lots of veterans. So, like, I'm immersed in that world. Like, even this is like a weird transition to go from, like, working with childhood sexual abuse and addiction to here and then back to it. And it's been really challenging. And there are a lot of challenges here. There are a lot of different perspectives where people are, like, needing this and needing this now. Other people who want absolutely no regulations at all. People who want absolutely no personal use at all. People who are concerned for their kids, people who are concerned for their vets, people who are concerned, like growers and practitioners who have been doing this work, you know, with respect and research and listening to the indigenous elders, going to Peru and learning these medicines. And you know, me being able to be fairly new has really allowed me like a different kind of perspective. Like, this measure passes, then yeah, there's going to be a lot to figure out. And because I know how things traditionally go, I know that people are going to be using these medicines and they need to have access to education. They need to have access to people who know what the hell they're doing. And if they don't, then they're going to try to figure it out themselves, and I have concerns about that. I also have concerns about people that don't have a vested interest in these medicines and in people opening up their own, their own healing centers because they see that this is an awesome investment and an opportunity, and let's get in on the ground level. You know, I see a lot of realms of possibility. You know, what I can do is I can't look at what should be or what shouldn't be. I got to look at what is and figure out what I can do in the realm of what is. Like, my plan is to stay on this and deep in this and be really loud and really vocal and continue to look at the arguments and the concerns and be as open as humanly possible to them, even though a lot of them suck and hurt, you know, because it gets personal, and I'm still trying to navigate that. But I want to go for the advisory board because I do have concerns about DORA, about who's going to be up there, about why they're there. There are some people on this campaign that are absolutely invested, and this is about healing. This is about making sure that people can have access to medicine. There are the people I don't know as well.
And what do you say to the person who says that Proposition 122, or what it was when it was just a bill, I don't know, what was it beforehand? It became a proposition, but it was 58. Okay, when it was
ballot measure,
ballot measure 58, that it's funded by outside the state of Colorado interests. And I was always taught to follow the money to figure that out. And so one would have to hope that they would be altruistic in putting forth their ballot measure, which became Prop 122, because they put so much money into it. They paid a lot for signatures. That, to me, just has an air about it. I would think that
it doesn't pass the smell test.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And we know the players.
And this is the problem everywhere. Everywhere we're getting legalization, whether it's psychedelics, whether it's cannabis, is that the proposition, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know the one in your state, but if passed, like 64, if passed, then it's up to the state legislature, the Senate, to write the rules and write the regulations. Is that how it works there?
Yeah.
So that instead of an
Well,
initiative,
it's not the Senate. They would create a rules committee, and that rules committee
Correct.
would then write everything up. They wouldn't be elected. They'd be hired.
by the politicians.
Correct.
Correct. And so what you have is a politically driven set of regulations that, like in California, over-regulated, overtaxed, and the people implementing these laws and regulations have no idea, and they're not going to listen. They're not. I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm very, very pessimistic because I've seen it happen in many states, including my own here in California. If you leave it up to the politicians to actually write the regulations, it's going to be a clusterfuck.
And it always is. And that's the thing is like coming at it from like just simple, like if you could turn back time on every single state with cannabis and you have a chance to say no to the first offer that's ever been thrown at you, you'll always do better. There's never been a situation where the first offer is the best offer in the world and it gets better. It gets worse after that because you have time. You have a whole year now to recoup, get the right people in place, see which way it's going to go. Because the problem is the minute you say, okay, and you give up so much just to give treatment like that costs 43 cents, according to you, for one treatment, and you can't get that to people's hands. Come on now.
Well, we don't know if you can get it, and I think isn't that a failure in the initiative process that we don't have that language written into it. Right. The politicians have created a vagueness in how you get bills turned into propositions, and then it just comes back to how they interpret it.
So you're addressing political viability, right? Something has to be sellable. So one of my biggest criticisms is for the $2.8 million that was put into signature collecting, there could have been a lot of education that happened. A lot of education.
Unfortunately. That's why I'll never run for office. My dad wants me to run for Senate. I'll never run for office. It's a bunch of bullshit. I think even when you get there, it's, the whole culture's got to change because it's all politically driven, taxed, overtaxed. It's going to be overtaxed and regulated anyways. And that 43 cents, it should be, I don't think testing is a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. But after having smoked cannabis, and actually I've done mushrooms for 40 years without any testing.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Maybe I always say I'm not a scientist, but maybe when you smoke flower, it actually, kills whatever's in it. I don't know. But, the cartridges, the man-made stuff, maybe that's a different story. People putting E-acetate in the vape cartridges and, that's dangerous. So maybe that should be tested, but it's just, it should be a free market. I have simple testing and have a free market. That's how it should be on any product.
Question, is tobacco tested?
Yeah, it's tested. It tells you all the carcinogens that are in it.
Okay. I haven't picked up a pack of cigarettes in like 10 years now, but I was just thinking, I was like, do they actually test
they
that
don't
shit?
test. They actually don't. They don't.
They
They don't
just tell
have
you
to.
that
Rolling crossbones and people still buy it. I mean,
Yeah, they don't have to.
And as far as the safety issue goes, I got to say, parents should be responsible. When I had 4 kids, I'm 60 years old. I had weed for 40 years, do the math, and my kids were safe like any other thing in the house with cleaning supplies. You don't let them get to it. So they make such a big deal about the safety issue, which I think is a red herring.
Well, you're talking about the culture of use, which is something that the drug argument should veer towards, because it's not, the drugs themselves are not inherently good or bad. It's the culture of use surrounding it.
That's right.
And that's why kids aren't drinking bleach, to your point about cleaners, because they know that.
Tide Pods are pretty hot, though. Tide Pods are cool.
Yeah, they were for a minute.
Yeah, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of this one. The psychedelic medicine is so close to my heart. It's tough for me because I hear both sides of it, but I can't help but be so nervous that are we missing out on our one opportunity? Or are we gonna do the Amendment 64 thing? We're gonna handcuff ourselves by 6 plants.
But we've already
That's
like got Oregon. You already have Oregon. You
Yeah.
already have the example of Oregon, and you just have to look at
Oregon,
that and
let
say
her
we
rip.
don't want it.
Let her rip.
No, look at
because
California.
because
Look at California. I mean, in California with 64, I mean, one of the only reasons I even backed it, and it really sucked, but people were going to be let out of California jail, get things expunged, and that's a tough one.
did that happen?
To fight against. Even though I hated everything else in the bill, it was, my God, this is a first step, and we're paying the consequence for that. You know, people would have gotten let out sooner or later, I guess, but that was a big hook. And then the politicians were behind it because of all the taxes, all the supposed taxes, because it's the illegal market's still 10 times bigger, if not more, than the legal market.
Did those people actually get let out of jail? Did they follow through with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in California, yes, we helped a lot of people as well get things expunged, completely off their record, or out of jail and expunged. You could have gone to jail for selling a joint.
You had to do it assertively, though. You had to file motions. There were only a few counties in California that actually snapped the finger and did it automatically, that's how it should be done for everybody.
Well, I wish you guys could read Proposition 122 right now really quick for us, because if there was a way that somebody can convince me that there is a guarantee that we will have adult home cultivation within Prop 122.
David, I sent you the
Can I ask a question to the lawyers?
Let me just say one thing. Let me say one thing. If a client ever tells me somebody, politician, lawyer, guarantees you anything in law, they're lying.
Yeah, okay. I have a follow-up question for that.
Yeah, but but I can be won over, and you know, I've listened to experts we've had on the show, and I don't put my opinion in stone. I want to be able to absorb new information, and the experts we had on the show, including Travis, have convinced me that this bill is just not the right one, that we will get a better one, but I can still feel comfortable if it passed, if there were a guarantee that adults over the age of 21 could cultivate mushrooms freely at home.
I don't understand. Does it? I mean, I don't need to read the bill, but does it not say that, or it doesn't say that in it?
Let's talk a little bit. So they defined personal use as a necessary amount to share, right? So necessary.
Yeah, see, that's it. The glasses came off, and you broke your brother. So
the second part to this, there is a severability clause written into the measure that basically says if something is deemed unenforceable, and I can imagine that something being too vague would be unenforceable or unconstitutional, that it can be stricken without affecting the rest of the measure.
You know, what's going to happen is like with Prop 64, what happened before that with Prop 215, then they had to come and have SB 420, which actually gave some guidelines on how many plants you could have. Before that, it was just 215, and you could have it and grow it, but there was no other rules or regulations. So what happens is they come along and they try to I don't know what the word, quantify what the petition intended, and while it can be severed, this is the point of 64 that we may have learned, and if your gut says there's a better one coming, and by you yourself reading it as a layperson can't tell if this passes, you're going to be able to grow your X amount in your own home, and you can't tell from the bill, then you might want to wait for the next.
Well, let's let Rocco respond to that, because truth be told, he sent me some literature this morning.
No one read it.
That up, and I didn't read it.
Oh my God!
So Rocco, the floor is yours. I mean, he really can't. Can you hear him? Oh, they got a speaker there.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah. So I sent you the language. I've read a lot of, legal language, and it's clear that at least in the language that it allows you to cultivate at home. And to your point, it's vague about as much as necessary to share, but I come back to what Veronica said about this, is there's people that need this medicine now, and they're not going to be able to afford the, $1,000 of treatment, $3,000 for a session. Personal use is designed to allow, I believe, and I didn't have anything to do with the writing of the language, but I've talked to Josh, who did assist in that, And the spirit of it is so that people can grow their own medicine, and all the indigenous practitioners and stuff can have what they need to do what they've been doing for centuries. So the language is there, and in my view, it's a place to start, and there's a lot to figure out, like you said.
So
Veronica,
just summing it all up, what happens if what happens is what you say is 100% true? Okay, just we'll stipulate that, right? I use the stipulate, guys. Come on, attorneys. But what happens if what Travis says about vagueness of the language being written in there to give everyone this sense of security so that it can pass and they can instantly, they know it's going to be stricken. In fact, maybe they've attempted this in other jurisdictions and found that this is exactly what we planned on doing. So what if they use it, it passes, they say it's vague, they strike it, and the only thing you have are these treatment centers?
That would
Why
suck.
would you do that? I mean, that would destroy their reputation.
Because
to do that
that's
anywhere else.
the money came from outside the state of Colorado. They didn't have our best interest at heart. That's why they would do it.
But
Because
you're thinking they're going to hijack it.
I'm thinking like come on,
Because
there are some cannabis companies here in Colorado that we know of that we won't say out loud that made tons of money that actively lobbied to get homegrown stricken even after it was written as an amendment. They spent millions on it. They wanted homegrown to go away. It's a threat to their bottom line. So we know it can happen in cannabis. And so
that's why,
which is way harder to
So
grow
how do
and
you
more
think they're
expensive.
gonna get around the only 5
the
healing
point about the personal grow and the, what wording did they use?
A reasonable amount.
Necessary amount to share.
So in California, before we had 64, which has guidelines, and you can have up to an ounce you can buy, you can have up to so many ounces, and then after that, it's still a crime actually. So we hate when people say legalized, because I don't think it's legalized anywhere. It's decriminalized at a certain level.
It's legalized
But
in Oregon.
what happens is that necessary amount, it has to be interpreted by, if you have, let's say you have in your home 6 mushroom plants, if that's how it works. I don't grow mushrooms. And cops come
Mushroom
in
plants.
and they look at it and they go, okay, this guy isn't growing them to sell me, leave you alone. The next door guy is a vet who needs like 100 plants because he makes some into tincture. I use this for a cannabis example. He makes some into tea, into salve. He smokes some. He makes some into wax, concentrates, and you get an expert to come in and testify that. And we still have to do that to this day in California. If a medical patient has the need for 800 plants or 10 plants or whatever over the minimum is, we have to prove that in court that that's what was necessary for him. And that's what it might fall on. So you can still grow your own. But if someone grows this big farm in their backyard, they're going to, it's like, you can't do that with weed either. So that's probably what would happen, I would believe, if that language in there is exactly what it says, and that's going to be the law.
The difference is the difference.
Exactly?
Yes, please, absolutely.
All right. This is in paragraph C2, where it says, for the purposes of this article 170, personal use means the personal ingestion or use of a natural medicine and includes the amount a person may cultivate or possess of natural medicine necessary to share natural medicines with spiritual guidance, beneficial community. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped a line. Sorry. With other persons 21 years of age or older within the context of counseling, spiritual guidance, beneficial community-based use and healing, support use, or related services. Personal use does not include the sale of natural medicines for remuneration.
Got it. So you can.
So let me, before I forget that long sentence, I turned off after it said, because it's not, I mean, from what I just heard, it is not saying you can personally cultivate. You can personally cultivate if you're a healer, whatever, blah, 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 blah. In the context of healing, counseling, blah, 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 you can cultivate enough to share for what you need to do in your profession, and you can't get paid for it. It's fucked up. If that's how
That's the personal. I'm sorry. That's the personal use side.
If that's what I heard, if that was the personal use paragraph, to me it didn't say any one of you personally could do it. How I heard that was only if you're going to share it and you're one of these people. That's how I read it. Read it again.
The inclusion of the
First
spiritual
couple lines.
guidance thing is what
you're
threw us off
possessing.
over here.
What's that?
Read the first couple lines again.
Where did you start?
This paragraph. Yep.
Okay.
I'll tell you when to stop.
All right. For the purpose of this article 170, personal use means the personal ingestion or use of a natural medicine and includes the amount a person may cultivate or possess of natural medicine necessary to share natural medicines with.
Right there. Enough to share. It's
Or
not.
to do
That doesn't
this,
make sense.
or-
It doesn't make sense.
That
Enough
was
to
actually brought
share.
in because of community concern about not being able to use it within community settings, not being able to use it how
No,
they're
I
used to
understand
using
that.
it.
No, I understand that should be separate subcategory or paragraph. You should be able to share it under these circumstances, or you should be able to grow it and ingest it yourself. That's not what I'm hearing from that first paragraph.
And
Tell me if I'm wrong.
they are putting
disconnect.
personal use in quotes. I'm not
Garrett.
seeing. So it does say. So it says and includes the amount a person may cultivate or possess of natural medicine to share natural medicines with other persons 21 years of age or older within the context of counseling, spiritual guidance, beneficial community-based use and healing, supported use, or related services. Personal use does not include the sale of natural medicines for remuneration.
I'll be your spiritual guide.
I mean, so is that what you're really saying? Maybe Rocco's, and you guys are right. All I have to do is call myself a spiritual healer, and I'll take an online course. Just like I was, I got the thing to, I'm an ordained minister.
Right.
I can marry people.
Yeah,
I sent my $20 in.
That's going to be the workaround, but I don't know how all the big interests are going to make money if you can't sell it for remuneration, unless that's
There's
only
two
the
tracks.
personal side. They
There's
have
two
another
tracks to
track
the bill.
where you can.
So the regulated side is the spiritual healing centers, of which you're right. One person can only own 5 or have ownership in 5 of them. So there is a track that you would, and that's where the $1,000 a session comes in. In this type of regulated application, that is where there is remuneration for said services.
It's such a fascinating thing to me because I've sat in these meetings and listened, and I've looked at the language and watched as they were changed and watched community input and everything. And to me, what I saw as I sat there and watched the entire process in day one was trying to make everybody happy. Trying to make everybody happy. You want to be able to continue using your services, but you don't want people to open dispensaries. You don't want people selling the medicine because that's desacralization. Okay, how can we do that? All right, what can we use that is going to work that people can't do that? Okay, not for remuneration. Yeah, but hey, I still want to get paid for my services. Okay, well, is there a way that you can get paid for your service but not actually sell the medicine? Well, yeah, sell your services, but not the medicine. And back and forth the whole time. And at the end, only some people are happy. People are still not happy. I don't get it.
I mean, the bottom line should be people should be able to do what they want.
Yeah.
Without government interference.
I
I
do
guess
that
that's a
too.
whole other issue.
But it isn't back to the home cultivation side. Did you hear in the language of what we just read that anyone over the age of 21 can cultivate for personal use?
No. Nope.
So then what?
The way I heard it was there was this moment. It was getting there. Sounds great. Then all of a sudden, there was this for to share. in the context of all these qualifications. I didn't hear an individual himself can grow it and use it.
So let's just say, for instance, for argument's
Like, read
sake,
that again.
God, I
Read,
wish the
read those
lawyer was
first 4
here.
lines
I
again.
need my lawyer here.
so for argument's sake,
got
let's
two.
say, because there's some vagueness of this section, that they get it stricken. Does that then monetize it for the corporate structure to set up the clinic to sell the $3,000 treatment? I mean, is that really the only thing they would need to get knocked out? I mean, you guys haven't read the whole thing, so you're really not the experts on that. But I'd be curious: is Travis right, and you guys are right, that right now in the state of things we get what we think we get, but they're just going to use the legal, bullshit to strike that language, which changes everything. And you say
Or
because they don't want to.
Because what happens on an appeal, and I don't deal with appeal. They're tough. What happens on appeal is that the lawyers go to the legislative intent, and there's all kinds of legislative intent behind all these rules and regulations. And you go to that legislative intent, and depending on what that says, you argue this is what was intended, and it shouldn't have to go there. It should be. This is the crazy part about all these propositions, and we shouldn't have to argue about what it means.
Why doesn't it just say Proposition 122 guarantees home cultivation for adults over the age of 21? End of
Because
sentence.
more of us have to get into politics and change the system, but I'm not sure we all want to do that.
It's so
That's
true.
all what's going to happen. Is
I mean,
right now we have people in politics that just they're all bought off by big corporate interests. Some
Well,
say they're not, but I don't
just
see them
wanna-
voting totally in our favor. The ones that we think should.
But I just want to have an open discussion, right? There shouldn't be any vagueness and such ambiguity about this, where we're sitting here going, what is the spirit of are they trying to fuck us over?
Yes.
I really want home cultivation. It's so important to
Well,
healing.
The
You know what?
mushrooms told me. No one can grow your medicine but you.
I
know
know,
what?
but will
I
this
think-
bill allow me to do that?
I think that you guys should look at ahead of time as well. Is
Follow up with
preservation
Josh.
of genetics not being included in these counts and not being however they determine these, I don't know, these weights or cultivation limits? Is like you should be able to preserve a large library or whatever. I think with that not.
So in cannabis's case, that's mothers, right? You're talking
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
them being separate from
Separate
plant
from-
count.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. It's like when you nerd out on this, or if you're using it for medicinal
No, it's 100%
purposes.
not fair. It's like one of those situations. So, like Oregon, other states have it where all vegging plants don't count, which is the way it should be, really, because you should just count your flowering plants. Those are where you make your money. That's how you're making. You're doing something with it. It's once it's in flower, it's going. You know what I mean? But up until that point, you should be able to keep thousands of plants around if those are just your mom's. And
I think
And I realized I didn't know this until that about a year or two ago, but plants at that early age don't contain THC,
yeah, it's negligible amounts. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to take your whole
just
crop.
like seed.
Exactly.
David,
Yeah.
I would just say what Veronica said is, why would they do this? This part of the bill, as I understand it, it's split into the two tracks, the regulated side and the personal use. And the personal use is called decrim. Why would they make a decrim, a whole section of this, and then fucking take it away from us?
Especially
Because it will
knowing
compete
how
with
many
their-
of the voters don't like that.
Because no one's going to go to the
but-
centers because it's going to cost so much money that at the end of the day they're going to realize,
They
like,
don't
wait,
have to.
they're going to be like, well, why would I do that
No, the
when
way
your
they
friend
go, that
has a
was tricky.
bunch of mushrooms?
If you
And then
ask
they're going
me,
to, that's why they're going to
if
do
they're-
it.
If they're the ones behind this whole proposition or whatever you call it out there, if they're the ones really behind this and helped drafted it, it's tricky the way that you can listen to that paragraph you just read. It doesn't really say that you can personally do it, period. It doesn't say period at the end of that sentence. It goes on to say to share as a medicine person, blah 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 blah. I mean, that's how I heard it. So if they're the ones behind it, then it's tricky, is what it is, what it sounds like to me.
So if you're not allowed to share, then it's distribution.
Well,
Correct.
A legislator already piped up and said, well, in your definition of personal use, sharing is distribution. So you're essentially saying that personal use is distribution.
But I also saw
Son
a
of a
political ad
Trisket.
where someone was saying how they were trying to show their support of 122 by saying, and don't worry, we won't be letting anybody take mushrooms home with them. So I wonder how that contradicts a lot of what you've been, talking about. So
Yeah. Just say no.
I didn't see that ad. I'd like to.
It
no,
ran
100%. I saw
and
it.
it had to do with the clinic. So now it sort of brings in, well, what if you're both right? What if it's in there now, but they're going to strike that language, and then the only place you can use mushrooms is at the clinic, and you can't take any home?
It's fucked up.
See, and
That's
if I
what
walked
it
this
sounds like it
argument,
already says.
I walked this argument and I stuck myself in the rich man box, the money maker, the investment box. If I want to make money on mushrooms, I want prescriptions. I want big pharma. I want to be able to write prescriptions. I want dispensaries. I don't give a shit. The community, psychedelic community, maybe it's 5,000. We got 5 million people in Colorado. What do the majority of the voters want? Well, they like regulations. They feel safe with regulations. So I would write a measure that has the ability for me to make the most amount of money, which is only regulations, which is dispensaries, which is prescriptions. No growing, or if you want to, I wouldn't even put in personal use because that would cost me some voters. I'd want the people I know are voting, and a lot of the people I know are voting, want regulations. Let the government decide. They know best. They're the ones that would told us that this was fuckery anyway, and now the scientists are saying, oh, well, maybe it's not. Huh. Okay, now what? So then we go and we open up a healing center. And see, that makes sense to me if I'm coming from that kind of money. And to do it this way, if I'm trying to make money, doesn't make any sense. It's hard. It's a pain in the ass. You got opposition. Like, why even talk to grassroots community if I'm just trying to come in and make some corporate, takeover?
Because they kind of needed our support. Sure. I mean, just to answer that question, because they can't get it passed without the support of the people.
With that kind of money to just bulldoze.
But that's what gets me, that even before this discussion, that's what got me curious, because of all the money came from out of state. It wasn't.
If it's too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
And again, I'm
leaning,
hoping I'm wrong.
And they're leaning hard on the vets, and it makes me sort of pissed off because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, we all get it. We all know the vets need this. We do get it. But we also know that we could take care of all the vets in fucking the whole country out of my little fucking closet, basically, because the shit is so grows so massively. People can produce 4,000 pounds on 500 watts. You know what I mean? We're growers. We look at that and go, we would need like 1.5 million watts to produce that. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. So like when people start doing the math, then they realize that you just need spots to do that. We're going to outgrow ourselves in a month. Because it takes 6 days, it doesn't take nearly as long. So that's the situation where it's going to get, where when the rubber hits the road, that's when it's going to be like, bro, why would we ever let people do this at home when we can produce enough for everybody? And it's like, yeah, of course you can. So can I. So can he. So can everybody. So sorry, cat's out of the bag. The shit grows like fucking crazy. And sorry, so it's gonna get. I think it's gonna get nuts when people really
the government and big business is just trying to get their paws in on it. It's just very clear.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think that we should always say no to the first fucking offer.
Well, let's also not forget, you both want the same thing.
I think we should
both
just say
sides
no.
of this want the same thing. We really do. We really, when you come down to it, we are on the same team. Ooh. We should not. This shouldn't be so divisive, and if you're listening out there, it shouldn't be something where you hang up on someone when they're trying to talk to you.
Oh, he's talking direct out there. He's talking direct
so
right now.
Really, call me back and let's have a discussion.
Call me back, bro.
We need to be able to talk about this.
All right, okay? Dave, you're up.
We really do. I hope you're wrong if it passes, and I hope you're right if it does. That's really
What a
how
positive guy.
Well, I mean,
I realized early on with this, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to, there is no freaking way this passes that I'm going to let it go the way that people are afraid that it's going to go, or those concerns. I'm going to be fighting this, and I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to be
And you
there.
won't be alone.
Hell no. And if it doesn't pass, well, then I'm going to bust my ass for those people that are out there that don't have resources to make sure that they have resources.
And listen, if it passes, I'm pretty sure he'll be right on the team to take the legislators to task.
One more time.
To make sure they don't fuck it up in implementation. So
putting all the weight on your shoulders.
Well, here's the thing. I do not support closed door task force.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I participate in something that I'm against?
I don't
what's
support
the
any
closed
of
door
those
task
doors.
force? I'm going to open up a can of worms.
The advisory board.
Oh, it's
You
closed.
do bring up a concern of mine. The makeup of the advisory board. I don't remember every exact specific, but I think it's 8 appointed, 7 are qualified by some certifications, and then an indigenous person. Is that
No,
do I
a
have that
person with indigenous knowledge.
right? Yes, not even. Yeah.
Who are
Maybe
the
spiritually
7?
it's
Because they
intended to
make the
be-
decisions. Doesn't matter. You have an indigenous person. If there's 7, they're the decision makers. So who are those 7? I'm doing 6 fingers. Who are those 7?
Well, hold on. Let's it's written into the measure that the governor is going to pick these people.
8 of them.
Right. Something that came up at a meeting the other day, and what was said is, no, the governor's not going to pick these people. In fact, actually, I'm going to read you the transcript verbatim here, because I had to get up and walk out of the meeting or out of the panel because of it.
While you're looking that up, testing is another thing that was mentioned earlier, and I don't understand that there's provisions on the personal use side for testing. That's something that I think is going to need to get figured out.
Really? We're growing it in shit. What are we
No, you're
testing
not.
for?
Not for microbials, I hope.
Okay.
You're probably not going to pass your test.
Yes, you're going to fail. And Travis will be mad at you.
I get accused of being nitpicky, but certain shit just like
You?
Well, you can't lie to the medicine.
No.
And there's something that I have been able to run circles around my therapists, my parents, all the people in power around me, but the medicine you just can't lie to. So when I'm out there seeing this shit, I have to call it out, even if people are like, "Oh, don't let perfect be the enemy of good," right? So in the bill it says,
Oh, you brought that up. We were talking. You look at that. There was the one stipulation. My attorney is on the call here. One stipulation we had for Travis to get him on the show was we were not allowed to use that
Well, I'm
phrase.
calling it out.
and they agreed.
I'm calling it
and
out.
then boom.
No, well, I'm calling it out.
No, I don't know about that. That's you're splitting a really fine hair there.
I mean, you're right. But at the same time, this is how ludicrous it is to argue with somebody that just pockets that response.
Oh.
So in the bill, it says the governor is going to pick these people,
Lisa.
right? So why wouldn't they tell people that the governor's not going to pick the people? Why would they write that in there? So I'm at this event, and someone
there is
says,
no way that
hold
Polis
on,
is going
hold
to
on.
pick these people. He wants to be president.
Well, why would you write that into the bill? First of all, second of all, this is the exact quote. Is the governor even qualified to determine who will be on the advisory board? Which is
They
a
put it in
tremendous
there to get
question.
you to vote for it.
And the answer
put
is
it-
no. Definitely not. Definitely not. So what does that mean? It means that the governor is going to turn to the community of people who have supported this measure.
That's
No.
fucking funny.
That's not what they end up doing. They didn't do that in California. They should have done that. They have advisory boards, and that's all it is. Doesn't matter who he puts on there. It's an advisory board. It advises, and the politicians who are going to ultimately write the regulations are going to do what they want. Period. That's just how it works. I hate to say that, and that's why Prop 64 I wish didn't pass in retrospect.
And the
I wish we
governor.
could take the first one.
Here's something interesting. So I went to some of these events before I signed off on going with what became 122. Is that there were several people that would say to me like, "Oh, I know Polis. Polis is a really good friend of mine." And I'm like, "Why are you telling me this?
That's funny.
Why are you telling me that the governor is your homeboy?" So the governor was on the TV the other day, and they asked him like, "What do you think about this measure?" And he's like, "Well, I haven't read it yet. I haven't checked it out, but we're
course
definitely
not.
So I'm just saying, like, why can't we just
Voting's
be
2 days away, but
like-
I haven't read it yet. Okay.
He can't take a position on it. He wants to run for president.
I
He's
guarantee
a fr-
Governor Polis has definitely tripped balls once or twice.
You know, it doesn't matter. He lost his humanity when he became a billionaire several times over. Okay, when he was a senator, he was the richest member of any elected office. Personal wealth. So come on.
What year was that? What was the
Just
wealth
5 years
margins
ago.
like?
Yeah.
It was
that year everything was podunk.
Was this like a bragging? Was this a D&G kind of year? Or was
I'm
this
not-
like a Microsoft?
I'm not dinging him for being wealthy. I'm dinging him for being out of touch. He's already screwed with the cannabis concentrate rules.
Yeah.
He's changed everything after the fact. He has gone backwards when he could have created a legislative system of taxation for consumption lounges, for how about just being able to smoke outside your home? You know, just
Right.
something little like that, you know, would
I
be
mean, New York
so
got
great.
that right. New
Exactly.
York got that right.
So,
Exactly.
So
I just got back to New York and I smoked in Times Square. It was the best thing in the world.
Wasn't it?
On the sidewalk,
Yeah.
cops stopping right next to me.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I'd like to have that feeling here in
And
Colorado.
you don't have it in
Thank you.
Denver ever.
Yeah,
No.
ever.
And it never happened. It's got the opposite, where you're like, "What? What do you mean? Go into your house, shutter yourself away, and smoke yourself,
Hey, we
silly
were in
kid."
Denver a few months ago and we smoked wherever we walked, everywhere. So
Yeah, because you're from California.
It's tolerated.
And you guys are attorneys. I feel like you know how to handle.
Right.
know-
And you have shirts to say "Shut the fuck up" on you. And you're
Yeah.
walking around.
If I smoke somewhere, people are like, cops especially, like
She gets busted all the time.
all the time. Like I'm like, fuck. Like, can you just look at Dave? I think
I must be
Actually,
hanging out with
she-
the right people because I
No.
haven't had any issues at all. And
No.
I've never had
cops
issues, yeah.
drive
none
by
of
while
nobody in
we
this
were outside
room
smoking,
has
and they
except
didn't-
her. She's like a magnet for
Yeah,
trouble.
well,
She's a trouble
J Lo
magnet.
probably could have used your services in the one of the
long
9
ago.
times
So long ago.
that
Yeah.
you know,
with her broken headlight, getting hassled by cops, and saying all the wrong things.
all the wrong things.
that's right. If you stick to our 25 words, you'll never say one wrong thing. Ever.
You've already
Yes.
changed.
And so we you
my
know, you've
ways.
really participated in our mushroom discussion, but we haven't really given you any time to discuss what you guys are doing. So let's just move on from the mushroom discussion with this, is that you've made me very afraid, all of you guys, because now if you're saying that we have to rely on Polis to have this done,
No.
Hey,
holy
hey,
fuck,
it
why
all
didn't we
makes
talk about
sense.
that at the beginning? You know?
But this is me being nitpicky.
Read that
Oh, yeah.
These are the
paragraph.
things that I see, and I'm like, I'm going back to my original statement. Like when I think about how I would roll out with this, there's no lying in it. You know, it's like showing up, and this is where the cards fall. And let me educate you.
That's too easy.
Seriously,
politicians,
the governor,
it's too-
that's
it's
fucked,
ridiculous.
right?
It should be that
Landlady,
easy.
come on.
I mean, people have been in the mushroom trade just as they were in the cannabis trade way long time before there were regulations, and we did fine.
Yep.
Nobody died. Nobody caught on fire. We were fine before all the bullshit. And they come in and they just fuck it up is what happened. So
It's true.
with that,
Yeah,
I'll-
thank you guys for your time tonight. You're more than welcome to stick around. We're going to learn a lot about what really not to do when interacting in a police traffic stop, because that's what really has made these guys
That is
famous. And thank you, Travis.
Yeah, thank you guys. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Let's continue this. I mean,
I
either
hope to see
way,
you both
I'm
again.
for the mushrooms. I mean, look,
Yes.
they're, you know,
Yes.
it's
Especially these.
Yeah,
We all
This-
are
This is
for
my
the
file.
medicine.
yeah, we really do. And
Yeah,
so
so-
please, if you're out there, and don't let this be such a divisive issue that you either end friendships or business relationships. We have to make this work. It would be great if it works, and I will happily just eat some crow and say I was wrong.
I'd be okay with that.
What does that mean?
Me
Eat
too.
crow? It means you went on a limb and said a bunch of stuff, and now you've been proven wrong. So now
now
you
it's-
got to like take it back.
I would never use that ever.
And
Well, you don't wanna
Advice
eat- you don't wanna eat-
everyone,
do you
don't
wanna eat
ever
food?
say
You wanna
that
eat
if that's what you're trying to
It's an
say.
East Coast thing.
Hey.
no,
just
no,
saying.
I hate
Thank
to
Could be a
tell
lot
you,
worse.
it's not
Could be a lot worse.
It's not an East Coast thing. It's a of our age thing.
Yeah, it's old guy stuff. It's old guy stuff.
I see things all the time. My daughters
Thank you
are
for
like,
pointing
"What
that
the
out."
hell was that?"
Why would you eat a crow, Dad?
Yeah.
Jeez. Exactly.
I think that stung Dave worse.
Need something else? What else do you need?
You guys have an awesome time. I gotta go back to work.
Thank you so
Dave
much.
roll your joint? Dave roll.
You're
your joint.
welcome.
Yeah,
Thank
come
you.
on, Dave.
I just want to say something.
Anytime.
Like,
Appreciate you guys.
thank you, Veronica.
Yeah, thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
And thanks.
I actually came in here like I'm I'm a tired version of myself, but I was going to try and bring as much brimstone as possible.
Oh, the
I
fire.
saw
and
Veronica
then
and
he
it
saw the
disarmed
face.
me because I really believe we're heart-centered, wanting the same thing.
Right.
But the details of it are just like, what the, like, so.
You see, we spent a lot of time talking about this, but really, we should have just opened up with it is all going to be on Governor Polis's hands. And that is really scary. I got to say that to you, Rob. I mean, it's like it could say in the language, 100%, we must have cultivation. In fact, you can grow 9,000 pounds, enough for every person with PTSD. But by the way, notwithstanding governor's input.
Right.
And then it would be fucked.
I think it should just say, eat them if you got them. Period.
I like that.
You know what the great part is? You don't need the government to tell you that.
Exactly.
Well, we need the government not to
pay
try to kick our
taxes.
doors in.
We don't need to fucking pay for these ridiculous, all this bullshit. No.
And no matter what, it's going to be another.
Guys are welcome back anytime. Anytime. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming through,
Everybody
guys.
visit monstermushrooms.com, by the way, and enter Dunn Deal at checkout. You will get, 15% off your order.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks, Ronnie. And Travis, of course.
You guys are amazing.
And you're rolling, Travis.
Did we lose your brother already? And I was already getting shit. No, I was getting shit because his phone was up and down, and we needed to turn him sideways, and everyone was like, "Why didn't you tell him to turn sideways?" Because that's my normal line.
Oh, he didn't get to.
I think he had to take his daughter to basketball practice at the end of the day.
That is allowed.
So cool.
That is perfectly allowed.
Well, at least he got him on
kids
for a
are
little while.
28 and up, so I don't have that problem.
It was awesome having both of your reactions because it was like you'd be doing one of these and he'd be doing one of those, and it was like so. But you guys all meant the same thing, so it was like it was perfect.
Pretty much.
Yep. Well, let's pivot towards getting pulled over with cannabis, which I got my Stash Logic box here with my lock on it, which
Actually, this applies to any pullover in your life. It doesn't matter if it's cannabis. Doesn't matter if it's alcohol. Doesn't matter if you have nothing or you think you have nothing on you.
No, usually that's the case.
It doesn't
or not
matter.
the case, I should say.
So the lights go on. What do you do?
Oh, you hit the.
You hit the gas. You get the hell out. No, I'm kidding.
He's spazzing
Obviously, you slow down. You pull over as soon as it's safe, and you put your hands on your steering wheel.
There we go.
And what about if you have tinted windows?
Then you're fucked.
Tinted windows, you want to roll them down to the extent that you can see out the windows.
Just roll them right down so you don't even pretend like you have them. That's the best move.
Yeah, roll them all the way down.
Did you see that?
And when the cop's going to come up to your car, and we always advise people in our talks that you should have all your ID, registration, insurance handy when you get into a car. Have it handy somewhere to where you
really do take your
dashboard.
You take your driver's license out and actually put it in with your registration and proof of insurance. I mean, I think that's one.
Stuff. Drink. Like, how the hell?
There's actually something out there called. He's a great guy. I can't think of what state.
I'm the guy that looks all over the car for everything.
Was killed by law enforcement because he went for his wallet to get his license out, and it's called the Pocket USA. Give him a little plug. The Pocket USA. And it's this little thing, a plastic thing. You put your license, registration, and insurance in there. And when the cop comes up, it's a plastic sleeve that has a suction cup, and you put it on the outside of your window.
Then they know you're a fucking criminal. They're like, "Yep, this guy is going now."
That's for anybody. That's for anybody because the unfortunate part of our society right now is all the death, the beatings, the horrible thing you see with law enforcement. All start from a basic traffic stop.
Yeah, reaction to something.
So our 25 words that we came up with over the years was meant to de-escalate the whole process. And if a cop is going to get mad at you for knowing your rights, then they're going to be in trouble after they kick your ass. Because if you stick to the script, you're going to have done nothing to piss them off. You're going to have done nothing to antagonize them. And we got one just the other day. I should try to find it, pull it up and read it, from law enforcement all over the country. Because people a lot of times are like, fuck the police and this and that. We're not fuck the police at all. We're be respectful of the police, but know your rights. And we do not like bad law enforcement, obviously, and there's plenty of them out there, but there's plenty of good law enforcement that hit us up on a daily basis, thanking us for what we do, telling people to know their rights, telling people not to argue with them, shut their fucking mouth, take a ticket, and go. One officer even said, yeah, because if they start talking, then I'm doing paperwork at the end of the night. I mean, he's like, just shut up, good advice. And it keeps them safe.
They love it. They love the shut the fuck up advice to them because they've probably heard so many bullshit stories. They're just like, whatever, dude.
Please,
You're just killing yourself right now.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're just.
What's funny is. Go ahead.
No, I would say that when Adam said, well, as soon as you start into the script, then they know you hang your information out of the car, they know you're a criminal. With this, it's not so much that someone knows you're a criminal, it's that you don't want to go to jail for any more time than you have to. And if it means they're just going to detain you on the side of the road, or you're going to start talking to them and give them permission to do things, it's all going to come back to you. So that's why you follow their script. You shut the fuck up. They might tell you to get out of the car. They might say, put your hands behind your back. They might cuff you. They might say, I need to search for weapons. It might be a very traumatic experience for you.
But the stories that we tell people, this isn't going to necessarily not get you arrested. It's not going to, not get your ass kicked by a cop. It's not going to necessarily do those things. But it's going to lower the risk of all those things if you just stick to the script. And the story where it really does work is after you've stuck to the script and they decide to still take you in, and you continue to stick to the script and not talk or discuss your day in any way, shape, or form, and you invoke your fifth, you want to see a lawyer, you don't crack, and then they let you out of the cell 8 hours later because they had nothing on you and their game of getting you to talk didn't work, guy gets let go. And we get those stories all the time. That's when it actually works. Or when they charge you and we get the case dismissed because you did not consent, there was no probable cause, it was a hunch, it was a profile, it was bullshit, and we get those thrown out all the time. So I'm not discussing my day is a very important part of the script because it's the most polite way of saying I'm not fucking talking to you. It's none of your business. It's none of your business.
You don't advise to say, with all due respect, I'm not discussing my day, just to put him at ease?
If you want to throw that in there, you can. If you want to throw that in there, that's no problem. But we tell people to say it as nicely, respectfully. Don't be a dick, and you start from there. But the very first line, and I'll go through it real quick, and because each line is based in law, believe it or not. So,
actually, we'd love it if at the end of this discussion, J-Lo passed your exam at the end, because really,
I've been drinking. I don't know.
She needs some assistance.
Did you hear that, officer?
We'll go through that as soon as I'm done with the little behind each line. There's law. Is that the first line, which is why did you pull me over? Because they'll ask you, you know why I pulled you over? They want to get you to start talking.
No.
Why'd you pull me over?
Because I was speeding just there. I was speeding, and then I took a left when I should have taken a right, and I had my blinker on the wrong way.
Because I was going really fast.
Exactly.
So there's why'd you pull me over, and the reason for why'd you pull me over, really, whether they answered or not, it's irrelevant. Because some will, and some will just be dicks and not answer. And the person we've seen on social media, they get upset, like, you have to answer me. They don't. They don't have to answer you. They don't have to do anything they want to do. But when you ask that, why'd you pull me over? They have 8 to 10 minutes max to give you that ticket or let you go. Or they need to come up with some independent probable cause to keep you longer and detain you. So the more you talk, the more time goes by, and the more they can blah, 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 and get you to say something so they can have more probable cause to detain you. So if you don't say shit and they keep you there for a half hour, we're going to have a good case later on if something goes wrong that they didn't follow the rules and didn't let you know what your crime was within that 8 to 10 minutes. So that's why'd you pull me over?
What if it was one of the cops you mentioned
Was
that
it doing
is
the jab
just
while I was
wanting to
driving?
do their job and walks up to the window and says,
And that's the guy who's going to really appreciate what you're doing.
but what if he just instantly, before you say anything to him, he says, license, registration, proof of insurance, please.
I hate when they do that.
Bam.
And just give it to him. And
Give it to him.
And then you proceed from there. And if he starts asking you about your day,
Then why'd you pull me over?
there you go.
I keep mine in my little thing above where my
that's
mirror
smart.
is.
Otherwise, they're going to shoot you because all they have to say is, I was in fear of my safety.
Yeah, and I
You
don't
know,
want to get
A lot of people
shot.
say that around her too. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know you'd
Their
be
threshold
surprised.
is so low. The cop's threshold is so low for that it's so important not to engage. And that's why, I'm not discussing my day. Why are you coming down this road? Why are you going there? Where'd you just come from? How much did you smoke today? Everybody thinks it's legal. And they say, I smoked an hour ago before I left. That's why it smells. DUI, even though they're not DUI. Instead of, I'm not discussing my day. What do I smell? I'm not discussing my day. Wow. That's it.
Am
And
I
then if
being
they keep
detained or am I
persisting,
free to go?
Wow.
am I being detained or am I free to go? And then either you grab your balls and go, I hope they're not going to detain me. And then if they do, if they say, you know what, you're being detained, and this is a traffic stop, you get out of your car, you roll your window up, you get your keys, you put them in your pocket, and you lock the door and close it. Go to the curb and do what they want you to do. Unless you're in California, and most other states are the same. Google this. Field sobriety tests are voluntary.
In Colorado as well.
Okay, so good. So you never do a field sobriety test. Period.
I
Ever.
almost got tased one time by getting out of my car and locking it.
That's another one of her normal sentences.
Like just getting out and locking it and just be like, I'm sorry.
Do you know this is not the first time today she said, and I almost got tased?
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah, I know.
this is
That
what
was
we're dealing
almost
with
a real
here.
one though. That would have hurt so bad. They were nice, I guess.
So if they tell you you're detained, the reason that you say I invoke the fifth is because of a Supreme Court case that said in order to invoke your right to silence, you have to verbalize it. There was a case where a guy was up on murder charges. He was being interrogated for 10 hours. He didn't say a fucking word. At one point, they mentioned a gun, and he looked down in a way like a guilty look. We all know the guilty look, right? And so they used that against him as an admission of guilt.
Do we really know the guilty look? Because if you're really guilty,
we all know the guilty look.
can-
We all know the guilty look. And so they, on appeal, the court said no. Just because he was silent that whole time did not mean he invoked his Fifth Amendment right to be silent. That's why you actually have to say, I invoke the fifth. And then after you invoke the fifth, what do?
you have to be fucking quiet.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut
the fuck up.
Really?
Shut the fuck up.
Bingo.
So hard.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And then if they
You
come
just got-
back and arrest you, do you just like
You still shut the fuck up. You don't
just
want to
chill.
be mouthing
don't-
off to a police
Yeah.
officer when you're in
you
handcuffs.
just
already.
chill? You're just
Yeah.
like, oh,
Do you know who I am?
That is,
Speak to that.
You say,
that
I
is
don't
not your.
consent.
That's
Yeah.
not her
I just
MO.
want to double check.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
work.
you don't fight the cop.
No.
You comply and complain later.
God.
Unless you want to get your ass beat. That we can't help.
So, what do you advise to people here it's Colorado? We are the Wild West, and anyone over the age of 18 can go buy a handgun. What if you
crazy.
do you give the advice that if you are pulled over and you are in possession of a legal firearm that you alert the officer? Because in Colorado there is no there's no force majeure to tell an officer. However, I if somebody asked me, I think you should tell a police officer.
You know what?
that,
If it's not in if it's not in hand range, or even if it was, I don't think it's any. If there's no law in your state, that's because I know in California I don't have a concealed weapons permit because I don't want the responsibility. A lot of my friends do, and cop comes up, they got to say I got a CCW and here's my gun, and you got to do all that stuff. But if there's no law saying you have to disclose that you're carrying a concealed loaded weapon, then I would say until for whatever reason they get you out of the car and they're going to search your car, I would say, by the way, at that point, you could say it if it's totally legal to be in there. I'm assuming it's 100% legal to be in your car the way it is. So if that's the case, maybe then. But other than that, they don't need to know. They're pulling you over for a traffic stop.
Sure.
99% of the pullovers for a traffic stop.
Dave gets pulled over all the time with his friends.
Dave
because
doesn't
he's a cop.
speed. I drive like a grandmother. Okay. In fact, I made sure I have a car that
It makes Andy look like he's driving fast.
He drives faster than me, for fuck's sake.
Andy drives like an old lady.
Fucking we drove down the same road a dozen times.
Two old ladies
you
following
made it
each
there
other.
way before me. No, I know myself. I don't speed, and my
He doesn't.
Toyota has a cruise that links to the car in front of me.
Wow.
So it just stays that distance. It brakes. I keep
I
it in
love
the
that
lane.
feature. I got that on my Jeep. That's awesome.
I'm wondering. That's my question for you. Is that could
handle
that
that.
be something?
My car does that too. It beeps.
Let's say you got pulled over for following too close behind.
Blame your car.
Could your argument be that I had it
Because
set?
GM, because on my Jeep there's like 4 different levels of how close you can be.
What a
I didn't
douche,
know.
douche level
Set it to
1,
where
douche
you're at.
level 2,
Yes,
and
no.
super douche, like right up on there. But
Yeah.
high
There
beams,
are.
and then the high beams start flashing like that.
So I'm assuming on the lowest setting,
Yeah.
where I'm the closest to that car in front of me,
Yeah.
that computer knows it can still stop the car.
That's crazy.
I call it the slingshot.
And once they link them all up, then you know it's really going on.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, fucking, if we could just get an inch closer on every car, that would save us.
But wouldn't that
30
prevent traffic
million
stops
per year.
If you were all linked together and there was a little light that linked up that just said, "Listen, my car is doing whatever the car in front of me is doing, and this is how we're going."
Think about the
Why did you pull me
idiots.
over?
Yeah.
that don't
Well, now
listen.
you're talking about Big Brother too much. That's a little Big Brother.
Yeah.
And
I just don't
people
want I don't want a
listen.
traffic stop.
Not to Siri, not to their fucking GPS. Like, they're not going to listen to her beeping.
You just stick to the script. That's it. It's that simple. When you get pulled over, if and
Blame
when.
it on
because most
Elon.
people will.
Just go, it's Elon's fault at this point, man. Elon.
You know what? Probably.
Tesla drivers have been pissing me off lately.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You know what grinds her gears if they had
God.
any? But they don't have any gears.
Colorado's got a lot of Teslas, and I'm all
Teslas?
for it. But, like, they need to take it freaking easy out there with the 3 lanes.
Oh, look
Need to
at
be
you.
a little bit more considerate. Just saying.
They're taking up 3 lanes with a single
3
Tesla?
lanes.
You never know. Craig and Mark
How do they
might
do
own
that?
Teslas.
Listen, I don't
Do you
make
guys
the
drive
rules.
Teslas?
Tesla?
No.
Okay. Well, there we
I
go.
probably won't get rid of my gas guzzling Jeep for a long time.
Oh, Jeeps are so nice.
I
I
suppose.
love my Grand Cherokee.
Ooh,
I might
yeah.
go to a hybrid at some point when Jeep comes. I think they may have. I'm not sure yet, but I'm just worried about where all the batteries are going to go. Did I miss the conversation or memo on that?
Oh, I feel the
Yeah,
same
no,
way.
that's the unspoken part.
The dolphins are waiting.
We don't-
Florida, they had a lot of problems
We
with,
don't talk about that,
with
okay.
salt water because the salt water that came in from the storms and then submerged all the Teslas, and then that salt water is quite still started fires under, then they would like burn underwater. They couldn't, it was crazy shit where they were just like, dude, the shit's popping off, and they had to put them 50 feet apart
It's not funny.
when they brought them in, and instead of like, normally they stack cars next to each other, so they'd take up a whole lot because they have to be 50 feet apart in case they catch on fire, because they just catch on fire randomly after the fact, been submerged and everything, and then all of a sudden
Damn.
everything just starts corroding and getting weird, and yeah, you can just imagine the disasters that we've got ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm keeping my Jeep for a while.
So
And I'll probably buy one in 2035, which California says is the last year they can sell new
God, that's going to be a.
You'll buy like 5
New
cars.
Jeep.
Everyone's going to be buying cars like maniacs
They're
that
gonna
year.
cut
They're
it
gonna
off then.
Give me more. Yeah, it's going to be nuts because everyone's going to want that paperwork.
I used to have a
Prove it.
Jeep Grand Cherokee, and they said just keep emptying your pockets or something was what Jeep stood for.
Oh, I never heard that one, but I've had really good luck with mine over the last 10 years.
I know they're
Couple of them.
beautiful.
So I'm curious, are you taking the show on the road? Will you
It
be
doesn't spell
opening up
Jeep, by
law
the way, so
firms
anyway.
in different states?
Yeah, I wasn't the one that
We
said.
actually do have a
If you wanna get
worldwide
details.
referral service that we are part. We've kind of started because of the contacts we have with people all over the globe, but we really don't. We actually vet out other attorneys. We talk to them. Hey, the way we run our practice, people call, we answer.
He's cold. He needs a joint. I'm cold.
No, absolutely.
Keep me warm.
And we got to make sure people take care of people. We refer to them the same way as we would take care of our own clients. But we've been asked that about taking it to other cities, but it's hard to find the same kind of, we're kind of no bullshit, normal guys practicing law, as opposed to your stuffy high-rise suit and tie.
Just empty.
I saw you in a
pocket.
suit and tie at the
There you go.
Canada
I
Con.
clean up.
You guys
I can
look
clean up.
very nice.
That is
Thank you, Uncle
true.
Andy.
What
Very
about
classy.
But
crossing over to the
it's
dark
rare you
side?
see me in that.
What about becoming like a purveyor of cannabis and opening up a dispensary or a brand of gummies?
I mean, you already got the
Actually,
name.
no, we
You already got
are.
the name, so you might as well
We,
just.
we definitely are working on a shut the fuck up line of joints.
Shut the fuck up, lollipop.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
Line of joints. And I think we're going to have a big fat one for Big Brother and the little mini ones for Little Brother. And we're just finding the right partner is very difficult.
That's great.
No, I know you
Find the
definitely
right
you
partner,
definitely
source
created a
it
brand.
right.
That's for
If
sure.
you
Well,
ever
you
want a
probably
good
could-
partner, grower,
I always like when lawyers had because when they're on like papers and stuff like that, they're cool. Like you got a pack of papers with lawyers' names on them, cool guys, right? Because they wouldn't have packs of papers for you ready to go. And I remember I had a whole stack of them. Some Cali lawyer, I was like smart guy.
Well,
I
we
feel like
are
in
looking for
Colorado-
representation, so we could certainly help you
Yeah.
build that practice by applying cannabis acumen to your legal expertise and form an unstoppable force because we kind of, how do you phrase it, suck at business. You know,
Whoa.
Whoa, Dave, talking for himself over
talk
here.
about yourself like that.
I know. We're all like,
we
wait
all
a
should
minute.
have been far more successful than we
I
were because we're too
I
trusting.
like the marketing experts more than.
We are way too trusting and have been ripped off by way too
Yeah,
many
that's true.
people who have
No, we
taken
give,
our
we
ideas.
give it all
To
away.
that.
That happens. And that's actually the sad part
Adam
about the
Dunn show,
industry. I've been in the industry for 35 years from the ground dirt up, and you had handshake fucking deals.
They were the
You
best.
didn't have 52
They were
page,
nice.
You could feel
You didn't
the-
have
you could tell if they're
52
strong enough to
merger
beat you
and
up pretty much.
acquisition
Like,
documents.
yeah,
Those are
lengthy.
over, gone.
Those are called the heartache days. Like when I hear Celine
Oh,
Dion
those
come
are
on, I'm just like, oh yeah, that was 2012.
Who?
No, those
Wow.
were the good old days because you didn't hire lawyers to solve your problems. You had the guy in charge of security who went and visited the other guy, and that's how it worked back then.
Well, yeah, and it was all pre-internet, reputation were based on
Yep.
people
Yep,
telling
prior
other
to
people.
Instagram.
Everybody knew each other in the community. I mean,
And-
it sure had to be the same way in Colorado in the early days, where everybody knew everybody. Who the real people in the community. You didn't have to worry about getting boof and shit. Pesticides. You just didn't worry about that back then because it just didn't happen.
Right, because people
Yeah.
knew that their reputation was based on what they were handing you. As here's the thing, and you're giving them cash, so it was all real. It wasn't like I'll Venmo you that,
And we know,
everything's good.
where you live.
Exactly.
Yeah, but from 2012 to like 2017, the Predators perfected this. Hey, I'm going to take you to lunch. Let's have a conversation.
Oh, the old
Yeah,
lunch, the
what
lunch
the
gang.
fuck? That's a
The lunch
great
gang.
description.
Yeah,
I'm
and they
so
would
glad
just
that
take
you
it.
They were
pointed
like,
that
for
out.
the value of about 112 lunches, we could take over the entire industry.
So dumb.
That's all we had to do.
Yeah.
Covered
You,
about
like, show
112
your whole
lunches.
portfolio.
You take care of those 40 lunches. it was a lot of work. But no, I was
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I was unfortunately part of
Sorry,
those
it's just an amateur
brain
hour.
drain. No, they're just brain drains at the time, and it's happening in psychedelics now. Like the guy Travis that was
Yep.
here, I'm sure you could tell he's getting tired from all the
He's a
consulting.
little
he has-
shell shocked.
Well, because he has to take care. Yeah, because it's like you have to guide people through this maze of things, and everybody's promising people crazy
Just a bunch
shit.
of bullshit is what it is. We're dealing with a group in California. I don't know if you're familiar with them, Weed for Warriors. They have chapters all over the country. They're behind a new initiative coming out in 2024 that would overturn Prop 64 provisions and take away local control. That's the biggest one. Is taking away local control.
Why? Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Well, I know why, but I'm saying I don't know 100% know why, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's just like, why would we ever want to take it away from? I'm actually asking it from a real point of view, like, why?
No, you want to take away local control from city councils because in the state of California, when a majority of the people voted for a legal adult cannabis, 2/3 of the state still deny cannabis activity, period. 2/3 of the state.
Yeah.
We need to take away local control in that sense where they can say it has to be here, it has to be here,
right.
But they shouldn't be able to say you can't have it in the city because the turnover of those city council people is going to take too long because there's still reefer madness people in these city councils. So, but listen, I gotta run. I love spending time with you guys.
Well, wait, hold on. Before you go, you have to give her the test. Let's see.
Oh God!
You've
don't,
listened.
don't. I'm
Come
not
on.
a good tester. I'm already stressed
Okay, you
out.
ready?
Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to give her a cheat. Can I give her a cheat sheet?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
see, this is why I get
Here's a cheat
arrested.
sheet.
Fuck.
Go.
Okay,
Wait, I can't even
come up to
read
the
that
car
small. I
window,
don't have glasses on.
when I first come up, what do you say?
Hi, officer.
Why'd you pull me over?
And after I say, well, it doesn't matter why I pulled you over. What's that nice hat? Where'd you get that hat? What store?
I don't want to discuss my day
There
today.
you go.
There you go. And I keep hammering about that hat because I really want one. What do you say?
Oh, am I being detained?
Or am I free to go?
Or am I free to go?
Free to go. That's right. And if I say, you know what? I really want to know where you got that hat from. I'm detaining you. Get out of the car. What do you do next?
I invoke.
I invoke the Fifth Amendment.
And then what do you do?
And then what do you do, everybody?
Shut
the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. And if you can't remember the script,
She's the worst.
just remember to shut the fuck up.
She's already getting in trouble. You can already tell she's in trouble just by.
Just remember to shut the fuck up.
Can't
But
do
it
it.
was
I
a pleasure,
really
guys.
appreciate
Nice
this.
meeting
Good
you.
night.
And
Pleasure.
Thank you
next-
so much.
We'll see you soon.
you guys have a good rest of the show.
Thanks, bro.
We hope so.
You got it.
Thank
Peace.
you.
You would have failed so
Failed miserably.
Guys,
bad.
Miserably. You did fail miserably.
I just like the thing is I'm just like it's everything.
It's
just-
everything.
It's everything.
too much
You know,
stress.
it's
I'm
just like everything.
I'm just like, guys. I
You
hope
haven't even started your podcast yet. Wait till you have your own
She got here
podcast and you're in
late.
like
it's the
number
big drop. It's the big drop.
number
today.
420 or something at that point. You've like got huge.
420.
You have thousands of fans.
If she makes
tens
it
of
to
thousands, tens of
Thousands.
I'll be surprised.
tens of thousands of fans.
What the
At that
fuck?
point, you'll have been.
That's
If it was
fucked up.
once a month and
That's
you're at
fucked up.
420,
Bet?
be like
Wait,
10.
guys,
That's
did
20
you
years
hear
from
this?
now.
If you make it, if you do 2 podcasts, I will be impressed.
2 podcasts. How many views?
There's
I don't
nothing
care about the views. Who
Really?
cares? Just
It's gonna be Rosin Dogs like 20 times
yeah,
in a
he's got
row.
like 97
Please
accounts.
watch it. I need
No
somebody to
one,
watch
they all
it.
listen. No one watches. They all listen.
Well,
What?
listen.
What?
How do you know?
Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny.
of course
They
they're
walk
watching.
around with earbuds in and they listen to the show.
Yeah, but
I
they're
know people.
watching.
What?
There are a few watching.
Well, either way, please.
They would know
do
Telly's here.
it.
They would know Telly's here. Because look, he brought me this. No, he brought
That
this
would
to
be
the
so
show.
Brought you
nice.
that?
He
Wow, that's
brought
nice. What
this
a
to
guy.
the show.
Yeah. Nothing gets past you anyway. We already know that.
No, I
It's like
kept it down here.
there's a dam. There's like an invisible
See, I
dam
told
of
you.
concentrates right here.
Vinny laid all the concentrates out and put it down there, and I said, no.
Mark did that.
You have
Yeah.
to,
No,
you have to
no.
put them over here so that Adam says during the show, why is it all in front of Dave? Just like we didn't mention to the Pot Brothers they were going to do Danko's show in
we
2
forgot.
weeks.
Damn it. And
I
they
couldn't
will.
say it to
And they
Chris
will.
Walsh
And they
because
will.
It's MJBiz.
And they will. That's the best part. All those will because he is watching.
Did you see the guy on the
Lurking.
internet write
In-
down? He goes, wait a minute. Since Danko is on your show, does that mean that you guys are going to be on his show, or does he technically have someone else on their show? And I just answered yes. And he's like, no, that will break the space-time continuum.
And that's true.
He doesn't want us to be on his show.
It's true. It's true. That's why we did that. We foreshadowed
It's
ourselves.
okay.
It's like
It's
reverse.
okay.
It was
I
like
understand
reverse.
why.
He wants you on his show. His viewership would go up. I mean, he's Danny Vinkovetsky. He isn't easy on
Actually,
the
I've been
eyes.
looking
He's
at
using
getting
that
all
now,
this
though. Did you
plastic
see
surgery.
that? Did you see that where there's people now? Dan, formerly known as Danko or something like that, and then it had
Come on.
No, I swear there was a formerly known as.
That's a thing?
Hey, I've been waiting for that forever.
Really?
I have. I've been waiting for it since before it started. Very
What are we
nice.
smoking here, Telly?
Very nice.
Turn Telly's mic
Looks
on.
like a very similar size style jar.
It's a similar style jar.
It's
That's a blend of 2 fresh frozen strains.
Ooh.
I couldn't read the handwriting on the bags for one of them.
Oh,
and
sorry.
It's okay. Couldn't read the bag.
Yeah.
Okay, Max.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it
My
with
bad.
that. Yeah,
Terrible
couldn't,
handwriting?
couldn't read the bag on
Somebody
on
with bad
most of it,
handwriting.
but
That's
yeah.
Sounds like our diesel.
I'll write out.
kind of
Whatever
like
you
ours,
mean.
yeah. Bad handwriting. I think bad
The
handwriting
growers
in
would
cannabis.
know what it is, but I don't really like. I just sort of
Growers are
know
like
that's good.
doctors, but worse.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's like code. It's like they'll never know the
Vinny.
fucking strain.
Vinny, you should clip that. You should clip that.
Somebody already bought that. That's fucking
but
classic.
you know what I mean.
That's
When it
true.
comes to handwriting, it's
Growers are like doctors, only worse.
I know what it is, but I don't really like. I just.
true.
Do you want to know the funny thing is?
Growers-
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Zip it.
It's the handwriting.
It's the handwriting.
It's the handwriting,
It's all
J-Mo.
with handwriting.
Oh, it is. It's sloppy.
It wasn't the incredible knowledge compared to some guy who just randomly grows some weed in his basement and stumbled across the way to
Well,
do
that-
something
and
way
it's-
easier.
it's
That's
all-
usually the case. Like, oh, that's a way to not have to reach over there and touch that. I just, yeah, that's cannabis. Cannabis is about cutting corners, but not really cutting corners.
Should we have to give a shout out, even though he's not here,
What?
to Mark
Oh,
for
wait,
buying
what
the
hap-
toaster?
No, Mark for slipping out like a motherfucker.
Why is that?
And all of a sudden he was replaced, and it was
I
great.
thought he
like,
was
it's
here.
He's gone. He's gone forever. He's never coming back.
Oh, I know all about that.
He left a toaster. He left. He became a toaster. That is now Mark the toaster.
Damn it.
Until he returns, I don't believe he's really coming back. 'cause
I
think
felt so-
it looks like he took a lot of stuff with him.
Left toaster.
I feel like when I saw Telly there, I realized like I think this may be forever.
No.
Telly.
I thought that.
I can feel
I
it.
was here. I thought he was
No.
taking a tinkle break.
I
No.
can't. I can't.
You have to
stop.
put the toaster over here by where he normally sits, and then it will be like for complete.
Mark Toaster?
Mark toaster.
Fark your
Wow,
toaster?
this
Mark the toaster.
Fark your toaster.
Mark your toaster. Telly, that's really
Speaking
tasty.
of which,
Yeah.
where is that
Tasty.
motherfucker?
Well,
He went to go see somebody, Craig.
Where's
Not
everybody?
him.
Who?
Fark your
Oh.
fucking couch,
Don't-
bro. Where the fuck is that guy? I gave him
I'm
fucking.
just not gonna.
Gave him an opening.
He's where J-Lo's
Like,
podcast is.
It's like I threw.
Oh,
it,
that's fucked up.
and he was
That's
like,
fucked up.
Put the hands
That
out.
is fucked
Just
up.
put the hands
dude.
out and catch it and pull it towards you.
Dick.
I missed that.
What?
Did you hear him? Yeah. Thank
I
you,
missed it all.
Vinny.
No, nothing. He didn't get it on camera
Yeah.
or anything like
This
that.
mother trucker.
We're not recording this.
I will have to go back. Timestamp. Timestamp.
Definitely. Star,
Timestamp, Vinny.
exclamation point.
Everyone
Fuck
go
you,
back and read.
Dave.
Everyone go back to that original "Fuck You, Dave." I want to find
Podcast
out.
is.
It's like
No, that wasn't that. Oh, that's fucked
Oh
up.
yeah. That's fucked up.
Put the hands
That is
out.
fucked up.
Put the hands
dude.
out and catch. Oh, I
We
missed it
sound
there,
like
too.
a Jerry Springer episode.
No, we always do.
that's the.
No, you got no.
Sorry,
Dave
guys.
hiding over here. Lemon
We're
runs.
good.
Now that we have Telly here, it's going to be way more organized.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I can already feel the organization.
You know, I can
tightening
take
up.
credit for J-Lo and for Telly. I
Yeah.
encourage them both to come down.
Hey,
Listen,
Hey.
did you
Taking
guys
responsibility.
know?
He's
Okay,
taking
you
responsibility.
can't take credit for me
Really
on
fast, can you guys know
You
that
have to go back
tomorrow
and
is
you all you
my
have to do is go back and it all just kind of.
1 year anniversary? Tomorrow is my 1 year anniversary with the show. Okay, not that you guys give a fuck
So it
about
means
our
today is your 1 year.
anniversary.
Today is
Tomorrow is
J-Lo,
Saturday.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
We don't count tomorrow. today.
I'm just saying, if you want to be
1 year
legit about
J-Lo.
things, if you want to talk
Well,
about
happy anniversary. I
understand
was
it's
talking
like
to two about that. I said
It's like
about a year.
10 to 7, and you're just bringing this up right now.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
because
party.
I want to smoke and
Sparkles.
I want to
Sparkles. Can you add sparkles to this part of the show, please?
She has glitter on her face already.
Do you like it?
Do you,
Okay,
do you
so-
know who the biggest purchaser of all sparkles are?
Elon Musk.
Of all glitter, I should say.
Strippers.
You'd think so. You would think strippers right out of the gate.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten?
Yeah, because they play with the glue and they...
No.
Nobody thought that.
No.
Glitter.
Gotta go.
If you ever find glitter in your grow after a consulting gig, you know where it came from.
Oh, it came from the Diamond Club or whatever it
Knowing.
is. Of course it did.
Gosh.
No. Well, it's very, very top is already like ridiculous because, and then there's like levels below that. But, and
How do you keep an idiot in suspense? You're going to say, I'm going to tell you next week.
There you go. No, actually, the military uses it for all the planes that they have, and they use it to divert fucking radar. Because it's got like all the sparkles in it, so all the planes are covered in this. Like,
So
they use
strippers and the military.
No,
Now
do
strippers
not-
are second, right
do
below
not-
the military.
no.
Just
And
hovering. J-Lo is hovering right below.
Fucking a-holes.
J-Lo's third.
No, but the military uses it for diverting.
Military
fucking-
strippers.
and then they,
J-Lo.
okay.
Mark's in the chat.
Mark, get to work. What do you do? Why would you be in the chat, Mark?
Oh,
Corey Wong.
So Corey Wong's pretty boring then? So you're
Wong
you're
sucks.
So he's in the
chatting.
chat.
Corey Wong sucks so bad, you're going
Shit.
to watch the Adam Dunn show.
He just like
That's pretty bad. I have to say, that'd be extra bad. You know what's interesting is that we're so on time today with our guests. Like we had
It
so
was
many
a
guests.
great show today too.
We had so many guests.
I was like
Rampant.
zoned in listening the whole time.
And you were right there.
Did
Yeah.
And you
No, it was a great
zoned
show.
into the show.
I liked it.
You mean I might have a
Can
career
we
in
all take a
podcast
dab
producing?
together?
That
we
was
what?
a good show.
Can we all take?
Is
thank you.
does your rake work? Is it charged?
Let's talk about my ring.
Is it charged? Yeah.
My dirty
Hey
ring.
Barry and Sam, if you're listening, he's back on the puff.
I'm puff going in.
Yeah, why the
Look,
fuck
hey.
are you using a puff
Totally
coat?
not.
Because
Totally not. You're clean, bro.
I died.
You want to use Vinny's
I think it was
slurper?
1610
Clean.
was my number.
Before it
so
got
wait,
out?
the atomizer?
Yeah.
You didn't do the reset?
I did, and it worked for a minute, but it didn't work again.
Were you globbing on the inside?
It arrives tomorrow.
I
did
figured I'm
that.
going to get a new for You globbed out?
No, I was fucking.
She
up there
puts them in the
putting it right
holes.
there.
She stuffs
And
it
so
in the
one
hole.
day my rig was
hole?
leaking everywhere.
What are you
I'll show
talking
you.
about?
She gets
She
wild.
puts.
See right
She
there?
takes the dab
those
rig
little-
and she puts it in these holes
No,
where
she
the air is
doesn't.
supposed. I watch
did.
her.
I did, Felicia.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Felicia. Is it shout out time?
I comment.
Well,
Dave,
yeah, I
I
wanna
comment
hear-
Dave
About
on a
that.
good show, and then it goes off the rails.
I know we tried to do something good for once.
Let's write it
I'd
back
like to
in.
give a
Let's write it
shout
back
out
in.
It was
to-
fun. It was hard because I seriously just.
No, that was.
I'm glad we had Veronica and
Yeah.
coming in because it was also like my first sort of question, and we had nobody representing, and then all of a sudden it was like perfect. We have because I was like, have the indigenous been included, which I know they haven't really, and I guess she's been at the meetings with them, sort of. So they have been kind of represented in the sense that they left the opening open, but at the same time, just back off on everybody for a year and let everybody just fucking not.
I loved her innocence beyond her thinking that the legislature has altruism.
Well, yeah,
You know,
everybody.
it made me feel good knowing that
I was
there are
there
still
once.
because I'm jaded.
You're right.
Yeah,
completely
me,
jaded.
Me too, because
Yeah.
Polis, he came through Incredibles when he was on his election tour for governor, and
I
he
remember that.
talked to us in the lab and everything, and he asked us like, what's your biggest issue in the industry, past
Really? Oh
everything
my
else, and
God.
I sort of feel like he, like that was just kissing babies and shaking hands, and he didn't give a shit.
Oh, you little baby.
That's
You
what- that's
felt
what
like a baby at
happened
the
in
end. After
Boulder.
Yeah.
Before he got elected.
Yeah.
Before
So
he got
I
elected,
voted for him, and I don't trust him anymore.
he said, I asked him about DUIs with if you work in the cannabis industry and you're leaving a grow. Like, there was 2 times.
With a broken headlight. Did you say headlight?
Smelling
Well,
like weed.
You should have said the headlight because that would have
Whatever.
made it
If
real.
you just harvest it and you're leaving the grow and you smell like weed, it's like You can't just like
You lost 'em.
automatically search my car and do all this shit. And,
You can when you mouth off to the cop like you did.
Well, it all
Yeah,
depends
you
on
need to
their.
just
I
give
would've
them
told-
that card that I threw over at Adam. You
right
just
there.
hand that to them and show them the back of it, and you don't even have to say anything sometimes.
Oh, I
That's
know
what
all
I'll
about
do.
that.
I'll just get this
All right.
tattooed
She's like a
on
stack
me.
of those. She's
I'll
like a
get this
stack.
tattooed on
Could you
my
give her like a
wrist.
huge stack of those, please?
Yeah.
I think
One is
it's
definitely not
Vinny's,
gonna work.
but
She has
is
tattoos.
mine.
You should just get it tattooed on the palm of your hand.
I'll do
yeah,
that.
take a
Do that.
picture of that.
And then I'll
On your
put Thug
forehead.
Life right below.
Right here. Where-
Tattooed.
Excuse me, sir.
Just kidding.
I've
I'm
got
not
it right here
gangster.
in my forehead.
All right, ready?
That
Yes.
works. Anyway, let's
Buildasoil.com.
let's nail it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Build a soil.
Yeah, talk to him. Come on, Telly.
They've been all over. They were out some trade.
Where?
I've been seeing them on the road everywhere. They've been hanging out with, of course, with Miles.
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Miles is killing it, and Rootwise
What?
brand, all those. Oh, Rootwise, let me send you a photo, Vinny, of some plants grown from one of our guests. Remember,
What the hell
we
are
had
you
our
doing?
guest
I'm
Matt
adjusting.
from Extraction from 710 Colorado. Not
Not this one.
Not
that one.
710?
Oh,
You're not going there.
no, not
Oh,
that
no,
seven-
no, 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 no.
no. I'm just saying, not that 710. But he was on the show, and I gave him some seeds last year, which were the Jet Fuel OG Jasmine Catpiss. And those Jasmine Catpiss, the thing is, everything that we crossed with that is humongous. And it's funny because the
Jasmine
plants
Catpiss.
that we used, the male that we used to cross it was tiny, like small, squat, and wide. And still, genetics-wise, everything we hit with that plant.
I want that.
Oh, yeah. You want Jasmine Catpiss? Of course you do.
You saw it.
Jasmine Catpiss.
No, I'm going to find it. Hold on.
Sounds so
I'm going to
nice.
find
What
it.
do you need?
I
You want
can't
this?
believe,
Yeah.
Let's see.
guys.
What?
I can't believe.
It's your 100th show? I mean, your
Oh, yeah.
1 year
Talk about your 1 year
anniversary?
anniversary. Oh, talk about your show. Now that
Can
you
we
told-
talk about it?
Yes, right now while I'm trying to do
Okay,
this.
okay.
And then we're going to go back
So,
and do
guys,
we're doing
I mean,
fine. We have plenty of time.
I'm not gonna say that it's like really
Anything.
good. Like, I mean, it's got potential though. And the first episode, I really just wanted to talk about my background to get out of the way. And moving forward, we'll explore the world. But
Did you have any clams?
no, I
No.
think I tried to stay more sober. It's hard. But yeah, I would appreciate anybody checking it
Double
out
tap.
though. Is
1, 2.
the squad here is why I got to the point of even feeling comfortable enough to do this. I have a long way to go, but I think that we should do it together.
I'll come on your show and check it out. I got to give you room to
Expand my
do your thing because we're not. Oops, I don't want to turn it into the Adam Dunn show because that's I can't
yeah,
help it.
because you're a pretty big deal.
I know. I can't. I'm not a big deal at all. I just can't help it. But if I go into something, I'm going to turn it into my Adam Dunn show because I'm just going to be like, what am I going to do? You're going to interview me now?
Well, no, you could.
I don't-
You could
'cause-
make
'cause
it
the whole
your
thing-
show.
You
That's
could
the
appear
thing.
as a guest
We have
on
like
her
a
show.
different. You know what I mean?
I'll come in and do some.
We gotta
things.
roll.
Okay, here we go. Boom.
All right.
So I got the photo. So here's remember I had on
This
here.
is-
I had the 400. I had the Matt. He was talking about he had 400-gallon pots at his mom's spot, and he
Big
had grown.
ass pots.
Yeah, and it was cool because he.
How does he wash his pots?
What do you mean? What's that?
Well, we'll come back to that.
How does he wash his pots?
There's 400-gallon pots. You don't wash those bad boys. They're big daddies. You just replant.
Yeah.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
You don't. There's no What do you do? What?
We
It's not a
got a
pot
lot
anyways.
more
It's
in
all
there.
soft pots.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Think it's done?
Sorry for the
Hold,
dumb
huh?
question.
Let's see. Boom. Okay, I got this one.
I want
Same
Puffco's
one.
little Sherlock thing.
Oh, so you can't take.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh yeah, I'm doing you on the which one? I'm doing
Just
on
do
show.
WhatsApp.
Can you call
I'll
him?
just do show.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm sending this.
That's why I
So
love
this is
my
400-gallon pots. The like I told you, the jet fuel OG times Jasmine Catpiss, 2 different phenos. One is more jet fuel and one is more Jasmine, and they look left and right. Boom.
Holy shit.
And they just
What?
nailed
God
it.
damn.
Which side is which side?
They're both the same seed, different phenos. So you got the right is the Jasmine Catpiss pheno. That's like a.
Is that Tom?
And then we got the,
Holy fuck.
That's so pretty.
the more the jet fuel OG side of the left. And look at those two
They're-
fucking colas.
They're both beautiful, but I love how the other side, the right, has like that periwinkle, like.
Periwinkle.
Oh, the color.
Oh, the
Yeah.
color.
The color.
But look at the, and he's, I guess he got 12 pounds average off each of those bad boys.
Dude, those are
They're huge.
chunky.
Chunky. So shout out
Delicious.
to Matt.
Damn. Damn.
What
Two
does
seeds. I
Dan
gave him a couple seeds last year. Here you go. Here's
That
some
was
seeds.
fucking.
Here's some miracle seeds.
Dave
You
looked up
told me
late.
a long time ago it all starts with
Damn.
2 seeds.
He said it like.
Yeah, those are nice. huh?
Just
Nice.
damn.
Shout out to Matt. That's where, and that's in his mom's. That's in his mom's little green. I go, is that Area 420? He goes, no, that's just guy's jacket. But that's my mom's greenhouse behind her house.
Sick.
Oh wow.
Dude,
Shout out to
they
Mom.
crushed it. Yeah, they crushed it.
Do you need the studio address if you're watching? You know where we are here in Denver. Come on down. Bring.
Dave will trim for you.
Shout out.
But
yeah, I like
He'll
I like
dress
the
up
looks.
too.
Here you go.
Okay.
So anyway,
the little
let's go
thingies
back
on.
to the shout out. So Build a Soil,
BuildASoil.com.
855-877-SOIL. Contact them.
Yeah, you got to call him up. Ask to speak to Jeremy.
Jeremy, I want all the shit.
Want the done deal.
I don't even messing around with anybody else. I'm on Jeremy on the line now. No, you can talk to anybody technically, but Jeremy knows what's up. Talk to him. He said he's going to tell everybody because apparently done deals have been wasted just to the wayside. Like the guys were there, they had the money, they were like, dude, he didn't. He said no. I love it. To the done deal. I can't do that.
Telly took my Toker Poker show.
Oh no, he gets one.
Okay.
Telly gets one. Today's the day.
Today's the day.
It's a lucky
Telly.
day.
I'm
Lucky
so
day.
excited.
It's your lucky
BuildASoil.com.
day.
So
That's
Green
really nice.
Farms Med in Colorado Springs, you have to be a medical patient. Ask for the done deal. Or if you are a medical patient or just anyone over 21 in Denver, you can go to Platte Valley Dispensary. Tell them you want the done deal. You will walk out
shit.
with
I'm doing the
8
done deal right
grams of tropical punch, BHO for $80 or $150 ounce out the door. So just go to Green Farms Med or Platte Valley in Denver, 20th Street, right across the street from the
Oh, look,
aquarium.
looks like we're there, dude. Hey, man. We're
Yeah,
hanging
man.
out. Can I help you?
Woohoo!
Yeah, gotta go a little higher. No, higher. Up there. We
Oh,
we
that's
gotta be
per-
behind the
yeah.
counter, bro. You fucked
I'd
up.
like to
Bro.
I'd like to do retail for a couple days. Just a couple days.
Glad you-
For a couple.
Oh
You're like
my
a guy who wants
gosh,
to
I
trim.
love that
You're like the guy who wants to
experience.
trim for 8 minutes. You're like, oh, thanks, buddy. That
Couple
was fun.
hours.
You're like, what?
Well, I've just been so stuck in back of house, you know. I want to see
You
how
gotta
it
do
rolls
all
out
of
there.
it.
On
Yeah.
so many levels.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Platte Valley.
We talked about
We
it.
just talked about Platte Valley.
We did it. We done it. Bit it, done it.
Next.
That was Green Farms, but hey.
Hey, Platte Valley. We said
So go to
no.
greenbros with a
We said-
Z.com.
we did
If
it.
you
Zzz.
enter done deal at checkout for any of their products, you're going to get 5% off. However,
Which are huge. Like,
the Harvest Bucket,
Yeah, that-
which is only $300 and change, you will get 10% off. This is something you want, so you don't have to tell your friends, "Oh, let's have a trim party," which is never a party, and you're doing all the work. And they also sell the G Light, which is a grinder for processing. So if you're going to process for extraction or if you're going to make joints, you want this. So if you're in need of a G Light, we have one. Hit us up at donedeal@adamdunshow.com and we will make you a great deal on a product that they sell for $13,000 plus tax.
you don't want to do that.
Call us.
Call us.
Call us.
Call Dave. Ba-dum-bum. Green Bros.
Married in America, Las Vegas.
Oh, Apothecary.
So if Mark were here
Apothecary.
and not at his concert, since he loves Apothecary, since talking about sponsors, this was his choice for a sponsor.
This lemon runts is pretty good, and I usually roll my eyes at runts. So
Whoa! As you look at Adam's jar of runts.
I know. No, last time we smoked it. he
So if
said
you
it
go
was
to
okay, and I was
Apothecary,
like- he said it was okay.
and ask for the done deal,
I think
you know what?
that's easy.
I think they'll work with you. I know at one point in time it was a gram and a joint, but we're doing really big things together. So you want to head down
Big
there.
things. Big
things. Oh, we got them in touch with Bio 365, who is going to be sending a pallet of soil to their Oklahoma facility. So big things
Shout
going
out
on
to
here.
Tim.
So they've got several locations. It looks like 8 right there if I'm seeing. Colorado Springs, Denver, Pueblo, Oklahoma City North, Moore, Oklahoma City, whatever that is, Auto Alley, Durant, and Tulsa.
Dang.
Auto Alley sounds really
There we
nice. Sounds like a nice spot.
Auto Alley.
I want to live in Auto Alley.
And our favorite.
Ozo Coffee. Thank you to
Shout
Rebecca for
out to
coming in
Rebecca
tonight.
For
That
coming
was
through. That
so
was cool.
kind.
It was short because she had to go to a show, but definitely if her and Justin come through ever, we can. Once we get the other side rolling, we're going to have them in. And
It's 3 years in the making
She
to
was a
have one of them
beautiful
on the show.
little butterfly.
I was very happy that they came down, and that at least one of them came down. And let me tell you, the coffee's fire. If you haven't tried it, well then, fuck you. No, you trust me.
Wow.
She said,
that
I'm
was
going to give a
aggressive.
shout out to the subscription. She said, sign up for the subscription.
There you go.
It's the way to go, 100%.
Oh, look, Telly turned the fucking lights on my thing. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ, Telly, give me this
Dave,
fucking thing.
be a part of the cool
Oh,
kids club.
yeah.
Aliens.
Sparkles.
I don't use the
Sparkles.
Thank you.
Sparkles. You got to set it to sparkle mode. Sparkles.
I'm trying not to use my torch. For you.
Come on.
OzoCoffee.com. Enter Done Deal at checkout.
Trying not to use my torch. What are you like? Oh, that torch.
Plus locations,
Race?
plus
Oh, you don't want to
the-
make noise? See? You figured out production, son.
Right?
You're like, these guys, they're doing it because they have to, not because they want to.
So do yourself a favor, ozocoffee.com. But however, if you live in the Boulder area and you want some fire weed,
And
you know what was
coffee.
really cool that I found out today?
What?
It's the cheesiest thing.
Yeah, we
If you were gonna put my face on something to laugh at,
Everything.
I can think of a lot of things.
they put it on.
plug?
They put it. No, yeah, it's on that already.
Yeah,
no,
right.
they put it on the. They put all their. All the. They have. The
Brands,
cans
brands.
have a different. They put it on a fanny pack. And my face is right on the front. And
I
said to
know
them,
their market.
I said, "You motherfuckers! I'm going to catch so much shit on the show. First
a
thing Adam's
little
going to say is,
fanny.
I want one.
Yes.
And then blow it up and make a big poster out of it.
I'll wear one
That's
to
a
all my
Of course you will.
DJ
Everybody
sets.
Everybody will.
Yeah.
Oh
I've been wanting
my
a fanny pack
God.
lately.
Oh, you guys That's fucked up. That's so fucked
I'll
up.
have them send me their art so I can put it.
I'll
in my
tell you, you're not
pieces.
Somebody
allowed
did
that.
their
You're
homework.
not 21.
Somebody did their homework though. They were like,
really did.
so we need something, one of these brands for a fanny pack. And the guy was like, dude, you know that like kind of
Kentucky Fried Chicken
Kentucky
looking
Fried
logo?
Chicken guy with the thing. Yeah, let's put that on the fanny pack. Everyone
Thanks,
will
Adam.
laugh.
Thanks.
They will laugh
After all these years
and
working
laugh
with you. Appreciate
and
the
laugh.
support, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want
Thank you.
2 of your fannies.
Wait, they got to do. Oh, these guys got to do cool stuff. They were like, yeah, we're gonna make them cards.
So go to 14 or Boulder and ask for DJC and say you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show.
You could take that to Rio
And you actually
back.
okay. Let's pivot over to these guys. Oh, there
Did
we
we
go.
get Bio 365
Nice.
in? I have a feeling we didn't.
Did you guys
Stash
tell him I
Logic?
need a boss?
They came to us with DGC joints, didn't they? Stash Logics.
That he did have.
He did have you.
He had
He knew.
DJC.
DJC.
Yes.
DJC. I mean,
Yes.
sorry, DGC. Yeah,
Well, that's like
DJ.
Dude Grows joint.
I know.
Go to Stash Logics
That's
with
what
an
I thought you were working for
X.com,
them, man. I thought you were working for
and you're going to
for
get
them.
15% off your order.
Weird.
Listen, this is approved by Jeff Gard. He said straight up, you have an expectation of privacy in your car with one of these boxes.
With this
So if you were
box,
driving home from the
box,
dispensary,
oh,
you're
look what I
heading
have right
somewhere
here.
with cannabis or
Stickers
psychedelics,
galore. I found
you
all
want to
my
have it
stickers. I found all
locked.
my stickers, Vinny.
Locked,
They were all
locked.
in here.
They
You know-
should make
you-
it-
You know when you know you have something and you're like, I know I have them, but I don't know I have them. And I was like,
Give them to Dave.
here they are. So
They should make it a
Fuck you.
layered box.
Fuck
like
you, Vinny.
where
You
the first
have to take 'em out to
layer
Boulder.
like
You're fine.
traumatizes the
you have to give these
officer.
to Rebecca because she wanted them.
Like you know, if it was like a toy or like some other things.
A
Like
toy to traumatize.
like I'm
Turn
just
her
saying
mic
like
off.
other okay.
Turn her.
A toy
I was
to
just trying to
traumatize the
expand
officer.
like I was just saying, like maybe there could be like a little test, like instead of like the message saying like some like thing that throws them off, but like
There's no way to throw cops off. Come on. What are you
Hempenco.com. Hempenco.com.
Shout out to
just hempen.co.
Hempenco. What is it?
Hempen.co.
Hempen.co. If you enter Done Deal at checkout, you get 3 points less than Vinny's code. So enter whatever Vinny's code is, which
Vinny's
is like
code is
Vinny's
Vindicator.
family.
No.
Vindicator. Just enter Vindicator, even though it should be Done Deal.
It sounds like a porn thing,
it's
too.
a better one.
Why are you doing Vindicator? It
She
sounds
thought about it.
sounds so porny.
I was stealing
Thank you.
it.
There's certain things Dave just gives up.
Here.
Or enter Done Deal if you
Done
want
deal
less
for
of a discount.
22% off at the Done Deal.
But this, I have tried a lot of CBD products. In fact, when Adam and I went to Cannabis Cup to judge, they tried to give us the
edibles.
CBD
Or-
to judge.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
ridiculous.
We actually turned it down because we said it won't be as good as the stuff that our buddy does.
Really?
So hempen. You want to try? I like the mocha. I've tried 3 flavors. I've tried the mocha. I've tried
I'm
the.
trying to give these to Dave to give to Rebecca because she wanted stickers and I couldn't find any of them, and I was like, I know I have stickers somewhere.
I need one.
You getting?
I like the mocha the best. I've had the
That's all I got.
pumpkin spice and
Literally.
the mango. Mocha has been the best. 1,300 milligrams per jar per tincture. Is that say $40 on the website? I can't see it.
Yep.
Yes.
$40. But if you enter Done Deal, you'll get less off than if you enter Vindicator. So you should enter Vindicator because the motherfucker got a better deal than we did. He totally leveraged his position.
I've been here since the beginning.
So he's like,
Everybody
come to
wear-
me,
Dave
the
pays
Vindicator. I will take care of you. And you want
Yes,
one of those.
if you have them shipped to me, you will pay double.
Oh, look at her.
I'm
Look
so
at her go.
excited. I have a sticker collection.
Fishheadfarms.com
Speaking of sticker
My
collection,
chopped liver.
or
over
at
there?
fishshit
oh,
on
you
Instagram.
too needing
Oh,
motherfuckers.
And then you got to make sure Bio
Look at everybody's
365 is in.
crying.
Okay. So
All I got is these 2
fishheadfarms.com.
shitty ones now. You get the shitty stickers.
No fish
They're
are
punk rock though. They're more punk rock.
Can we do fishhead?
Handmade by me.
Motherfucker. Fishheadfarms.com.
That's punk rock right there.
Thank you, Tommy, for supporting the show for so many years.
Tommy, I had to make my own stickers because I don't have the money to pay up.
We'd love to give away a liter of fish shit. We'll come up with something. Probably do it on Instagram.
What?
Yeah, because we can't do it here on the
What
show
if we
because it
make
fucks
it like
things
a
up.
little like treasure chest?
Oh, treasure chest. No fish are harmed.
No.
Oh, I wasn't gonna harm some fish.
Treasure chest of harmed fish? Is that what she was trying to do? No.
We haven't even talked about how many clams you have.
All right.
Dude, these
Green
guys,
Valley
they know that
Dispensary.
They laughed. They do know they use our same background.
Yeah.
They
They had fun with that. So these guys partnered with us when we helped the blockchain, the Rare Bloom event. So if you're in the Denver area, you're getting off a plane, and you have a lot of choices of where to go, trust me, my opinions are my own opinions. I wouldn't be going to Live Well or Native Roots.
Hell no.
I'd be going to Green Valley Dispensary. They carry some fire brands, and they've got 8 registers. You will be in and out, or you'll be in and you can talk and you can smell.
Need some water.
Really great people there. So Green Valley Dispensary or GV Dispo on Instagram. Numbnutsco.com. Enter Done Deal at checkout. You get, I think it's 15% off. It might be 20. But their peanut butter is amazing. It's 500 milligrams. I'm forgetting how many milligrams are in each jar. 200 milligrams.
Oh, you could have dipped it in the
200
milk.
milligrams
You could
of
have done
CBD.
like on the commercial. You could have got the over there, got the numb nuts, opened it up, dipped it in with the chocolate,
it.
made a big old commercial. No.
1,000 milligrams
No.
THC if you're a medical patient.
Where's the peanut butter?
Over there, we got stacks.
It's over
of
there.
it. Got
All right.
tons.
Monster Mushrooms Co.
Could have done it.
Just started.
You could have done like a
show.
commercial. I just
Enter Dunn Deal at checkout. I believe it's 20% off your order. He was really high when he said that, so it might be 15%. But go to monstermushrooms.com.
You said 15th day, so it's over.
Okay.
You killed that deal.
You
You
did.
killed the 20.
I killed
Yep.
it.
You had it. You had it in their hands.
Monstermushrooms.com.
Look at us. We're at the.
What do you got, Vinny?
We're in like an altar of.
Yeah, that is. Wow.
You didn't even get to play.
No, we got to do Bio 365.
I am saving it.
I don't know.
So
I didn't want it as a first
Let's
date.
do Bio 365.
Hey, talk about Illuminar just for a second so I can pull it up. And then-
Illuminar
What? We're
lighting.
pulling it up.
Illuminar
They will
lighting.
be. Yeah, they're definitely.
I feel brighter. It's okay.
It's bio365.com. I'm pretty
I
sure.
know this.
So go to Illuminar lighting. You have to call them, right, to get the done deal. I don't think you can enter
Yeah,
it on
you
their
do
website.
have to call.
Yeah, I have to get the call in.
You have to give them a call.
But it's better to have a
or
personal
or contact
interaction.
direct.
Anyways.
Contact them
We're
direct.
giving away a lamp at the end of the month. If you'd like an opportunity to win that lamp, you need to send us an email to donedeal@adamdunnshow.com. You gotta have your phone number. It's really difficult to call you without that bit of information.
But as far as lighting
pretty tough
goes,
to win.
they have not only LEDs, which everybody's on top of course, and I tell people like, look, go for it if you want to, but at the same time, it's like we're in that phase where every year it's just new technology, and everyone's just hyping each other up. So you can also with Illuminar go with old HIDs, which are not old, but old,
Proven
old
technology.
Old in the sense of like,
Inefficient.
as technology moves forward. Yeah, but the thing is that HIDs are useful, and we live in cold
Yeah, it's
climates,
true.
so it's like those are like when
To
it's
warm the
beneficial.
space.
When it's beneficial, you're like, dude, I don't want to like add heat to my room in the winter when it's
I
like lights
agree.
go, because when you have HIDs, it'll create a nice atmosphere. Lights go out. It's good for 6 hours. If your room's insulated properly and your ventilation is not set up to just start blasting the shit out of there, and you just are smart about it, you can keep that room warm. Whereas the minute the LEDs go out, there's no heat coming off them anyway.
Yeah, that
But-
drop in infrared is a big.
But the
is a
infrared
big thing.
But all of a
Yeah.
sudden it gets like,
And everybody here, like, honestly grows in their garages, I think. So, like, you only have so much insulation.
In your mom's basement, right?
That's
growing in your mom's
fucked
basement
up.
over here.
Bio 365.
But
Organic
Illuminar
soil.
lighting to finish out Illuminar lighting.
Illuminar lighting.
Check out Illuminar.
Illuminar.
At the end of this month, we'll be giving away another light, as always. And
Can we make our own challenge?
No.
You
we'll
know.
destroy it.
No,
Why?
it will be
Fuck it
destroyed
up because we'll fuck it up and seeds will get crushed.
Oh, everything go wrong. No,
Everything
we're doing
won't
that.
work?
No, that is. Don't even talk about that.
You can do that on the J-Lo show. You tell us how it goes in podcast
I
number
think
2.
he's just trying to start shit.
He is. He's gone into shit talk mode. Has kicked in. It's getting for him. It's late.
Bio365.com.
So new sponsor, but awesome product. I've been using it now for a few rounds, and they came in, just met Tim at a show. He hooked me up, and all of a sudden I realized I was connected with a whole bunch of other top growers out there, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, all these people are, wait a minute. It's
You
Bob.
found out your on-air partner was a deadhead. Didn't hurt.
Yeah, that
Company's
helped.
owned by Bob Weir. Thank you very much, Mr.
Then all of
Weir.
a sudden it all made sense. It was
All
like,
made sense.
okay. And but killer products, and they're making waves, and you'll see a lot more of them. But right now I'm just using their all simple one, which is like kind of an all-arounder, and amazing product. And apparently that particular blend, NASA approved. So there you
So
go.
if you're listening here,
Once
I'm
you go
gonna,
NASA, you
can-
never go back.
oh yeah, that's what they all say.
I'm gonna throw this challenge out. If you're a commercial grow, if you work for a commercial grow, and
Yeah.
you reach out to us, we will have a significant amount of this sent to your grow, and we will send down a soil scientist who will help you integrate it into your current SOP. So when he asked me to make some introductions for him, and I said, well, some of the people we know grow in cocoa. Cocoa's big in Colorado. He's like,
I love me some
we
cocoa.
seamless integration. We can show them what we do to help them avoid a lot of what they're discovering now. I guess I don't know if they're using it as a sales pitch or if it's truly true, but Fusarium really loves cocoa.
Yeah.
So here's a way to help sort of divert from some potential problems. So go to bio365.com or
which we're about to get.
Well, send us an email, dundeal@adamdunnshow.com. Tell me, tell me which grow you are at, what the address of your grow is,
I heard,
and we will have some sent.
I heard Rosin Dogs just piped up, said he needs it for the shop, so we just need to hit.
I already wrote to him, I'm pretty sure, and said,
pass it on to Tim, pass it on to Tim.
Not a problem.
Say, take care of these guys, get it going, open an account.
I need to talk to
But yeah,
Mrs.
Bio365, check
Got
them out.
business.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Mrs. Rosin Dogs.
No, don't even go
there. We
there.
should start our own business.
What? Around the dog?
What?
Pop a dog getting shut down.
SeedsHereNow.com. James Bean
never works.
Was in the chat before we started the show.
He said he was
and
going
then
to jump on.
Where are you?
I told him this is the moment. I said when we do this, you can jump in at any time. He has the link. And you can see the site's all been fine-tuned to pass on all the stringent bullshit that they're trying to throw at him, which is like can't get too technical, can't get too, because otherwise you're
don't make any health claims.
You're endorsing. So yeah, everything's been a little bit more stripped down, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, is what everyone's going to learn down the road from how these things shake out, because it's just like you're saying about health claims, same thing. You can't once you get into that zone, you're like, oh yeah, this stuff's great, just figure this. You're like, okay, now slow down, puppy. You're a doctor. You have to put all these bullshit things up and make it all up. So, he's avoid all that because that's what you do. But
he's the most trusted name in the industry in regards of
right.
transactions of genetics. So just go to SeedsHereNow.com.
70 plus breeders now.
Enter Dunn Deal.
Killing it.
10% off, or you can go to SHN Auctions.
Yeah.
No Dunn Deal there. Oh,
is that the real deal or is that the fake Vinny version?
Wait, is that Vinny?
I gotta figure this out.
Vinny, that really sounds like James Bean.
Yeah,
you did great.
You did a good job, or not?
Yeah, no, it's me. I've been here for a while now, just waiting for you guys.
What? You've been waiting?
I was actually tending to my 400 mushroom plants.
Oh, your 400 mushroom plants. Okay, yes, mushroom plants.
That's what you need.
Mushroom plants.
Right.
No, waiting on your coffee. That's what you made the order this morning, and you want it now. Need it now.
Fuck,
now. Where's my coffee?
It's already been delivered, bro. It's already here.
Yeah, it should be here now. I ordered this morning.
Why don't we have you on video?
Quick. It's already here.
There he is.
It's amazing.
Welcome back, Mr. Bean.
Thank you.
Mr. Man on the scene. Did I hear correctly that you're going to order some Ozo coffee after 3 years of them appearing on the show with you every Friday?
I grinded him.
I've already ordered it. It's here already. Yeah.
Nice. Virtually.
Quick.
Virtual coffee. We are.
That was it's timing.
So
right
you
there.
so you got a
last guess.
A commercial. Look, that was funny.
So you have a green screen now? That's why it's all smoky, or is that his own smoke?
I'm just smoking. I was smoking earlier.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Good effect. Looks good.
It is
very nice. I wasn't sure. Yeah, my smoke's bigger.
I see.
Yeah, our smoke's bigger.
They're very complimentary.
Yeah, we're trying to beef up our smoke around here.
How you been, buddy? It's been forever and a day.
I know.
I've been all right. I've been around. I've been here, been there. I've been around, but it's been good. Getting everything's moved to Tulsa finally, so that's good. Closed the Oregon office officially on 2 days ago, so that's either good or bad. I mean, it's good because it just closes another chapter. I mean, starting in Washington down to Oregon, now we're in Tulsa. So
yeah,
Tulsa's working out great. We're shipping a lot quicker. We were already fucking quick, but now we're in the middle of the states, and so it's really quick.
Yep. Yeah, easier shipment, and obviously everyone's right at your doorstep now. So Cowboy
Cup.
Cup.
I mean, and that's why. I mean, you guys can really just everybody that's got a problem with the prices right now, fucking blame Oklahoma. That's just all there is to it. It's still medical. I mean, rewind the clock to where, remember when Denver was still medical before they passed it? Mm-hmm. Remember how Oregon was still medical before they passed it? This just it seems like it's recreational because Oklahoma's throwing so much fucking weed out, but it's still medical. it's still gray area. It's still not big money. It's still like they don't have enough people to go around and enforce the fucking current bills they have. And that's neither here nor there. That's great. I love the medical. I get out when it gets fucking, I get in when it's like 2 chapters. I get out when it's like fucking 20 chapters. In chapters of regulations. And so, but the bad thing is Oklahoma has it on their bill this year. They've got it. They've got 2 different bills to put it out to make it recreational. So we'll see.
Oh. Interesting. So, let's see.
Tell us about the auction site.
How's
That's always been
It looks
something.
so nice.
I mean, to really just to be there means nobody gave you shit, right? For anybody, for any of that, those strains that season.
Well, a lot of people give me shit. Don't get me wrong. I got shit today. Somebody wrote in and there were 9 seeds in his package. Now keep in mind, I don't pack these packages. I don't open them. I don't double check them.
You took that seed out, motherfucker.
Anyhow, I can't tell him that. He just knows he got 9 and he's upset because he didn't get 10, so he's unsatisfied.
Okay.
And so I get to send him a free 10 pack to make up for that one.
Look at you.
It's like but it's it's not his fault. Could it have happened? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It happened.
You're dealing with people like me.
We've all been there.
You're dealing with guys like me all the time.
Trouble counting to 10.
You know,
wait.
Adam's had a few 9 packs go out.
Hell yeah.
You know, James Loud riddled that, man. I see his equipment, man. He's got it down. He just pushes a button.
There's the counters. The counters just count to 10.
Yeah, but the counter is Adam.
You gotta be like some of these customers.
You should be happy though. You know, it's
honestly
human
need to be
error
a
at that point.
little,
Human error means human touch.
Do you ever just say, you know what, I'm going to put 11 in my packs because I'm such a stoner?
I do all the time. If I don't think, if I'm a little bit off.
Watch out now. You can't give too many, because if you give too many, then they're like, you fucking knew they were going to be shitty and you knew they were light, so you gave me extra. That way I wouldn't complain. No.
Exactly.
They give you more because they fucking want you to find something else.
You're right though. The connoisseurs would talk shit on that.
How many times has Telly complained about his seeds from you? Just wondering.
None at all.
Good
Nothing.
man.
Nothing.
Good man.
Yeah, no. He just keeps dropping me these mixtapes, and I'm like, okay, we gotta do a 2x4 one of these days. We gotta play it out.
Speaking of which, we're about to jump over to Patreon, and you're gonna hang out with us. You just don't have to do nothing. You just stay there, and you're there.
Yeah. He's gonna leave.
No, he's not.
Oh, he always
Let
does.
you insult him, because usually that's the case.
I love him. I don't want to insult him.
Yeah, you're, like he's not. He's.
But we did have some new drops this week. We did. We got a new Soulfire drop. So if you guys are running in Soulfire's Hood Candies drop, that's new. The Thug Pug new drop came out yesterday. I heard some trash talk on whether Thug Pug where's he been and yeah, believe it or not, right? Trash talk and drama and seeds. People who were like, I bet he sold his company to someone else. Someone else is doing it. Not the case. I bought the beans from Gromer. I talked to Gromer yesterday. He's the same old grumpy guy that he's always been. The PBBBX fucking flew off the shelf, and all the photos that have been posted on the site, those came to me via his cell phone. So like he's obviously taking those pictures and giving them, what that always means is that these people are testing shit, right? When they have pictures of their seeds before they sell them, means they actually test them. So not everybody does that, but everybody should.
Towards you. Hey,
So,
this is breaking news, James Bean. Somebody on the chat,
What
Threat Wong says
Wonk.
he can affirm that Adam can count to at least 10.
Oh,
Okay, so ding, 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 ding,
I did it
ding.
once. I did it at least once. Correct.
Okay.
Out of all those.
I did it. It wasn't an Adam Dunn pack. That's for sure. It wasn't.
It wasn't mine.
But
It was just. I'm just saying.
I mean, I think that customers need to
Everybody.
stop being
Everybody.
such assholes. Though,
and I was going to throw a dude under the bus because I don't give a fuck. There was a soul pack. There was an old Brother Scrim 9 pack. And there's only 8 in it. So I was
don't.
can't count.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Ding,
At
ding,
a
ding,
point,
ding.
it's just like, but I'll get you back. I'll get you back someday. Someday.
So, we're going to go to Patreon.
Going to Patreon. Hang in there if you ever want to hang out with James. That's the bonus of the day. That's the only first of the bonuses. You never know with Patreon.
You never
Shit gets
know.
cray.
Turn
All right.
up.
Peace out, everybody.
Shout out to the Trash Chat Gang. Thanks for everybody supporting us.
Exactly.
And look forward to my Black Friday sales as always.
Oh,
warning.
just around the corner.
Why don't you call it Green Friday?
Oh, that is so soon.
Yeah.
Just a couple of weeks.
Exactly. We're before everybody else. It starts Friday.
Woo!
Excellent.
Good night.
Sweetness.
See you guys.
Practically every one of the top 40 records
And shout out to all the guests that were on the show, of course.
Definitely.
Good show once again, according to Telly. It was a good show. Go back and rewind if you haven't watched already.
I might have to.
May have to yourself.
I might have to watch this.
We don't want you to smoke the smoke the real thing. Me? One of them smoke the natural herb. Sweet. Some call it marijuana. Sweet. Some call it sensimilla. Sweet. Some call it lamb's bread. The tea. And some people call it